Boy, I'm excited about this one, ladies and gentlemen. In prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that our guest, and most certainly a number of different places you've seen him in, like Express Wrestling, and most notably LAW, most certainly helped build Sportswire Radio to the tune of nearly 1,500 subscribers. And we're going to talk about, you might want to say, the aftermath of our guest in-ring career now that it's now ceased and desisted. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what was he doing this past weekend, refereeing a Godric Sandwell match, then a Dave Jameson match right afterwards. We'll get into that. Plus, we'll also talk about next Monday's Memorial Day show. We'll bring up a number of different names. How about Michael McMoney? I thought he was going to bring home that hybrid championship, but guess what? Wyatt Black didn't either, and apparently that's going to definitely be, I'm sure, a topic, although a few, I'm sure, won't be too sad about that. We're going to talk about, did the new religion grow in size? We're going to talk about Kings and Queens magazine, where a man that retired our opponent is number one again in the poll of the best light heavyweights. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a new Indie Vision champion who's number 2 in the Kings and Queens magazine women's poll. We're going to talk about who knows whatever else. Battle on the Border. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. We'll definitely talk about, I'm sure, a slew of other people here in this chat. Plus, I'll have something for our guest, and maybe it's time that I pass the baton to him. But before I do those things here on Sportswire Radio, and in the words of Def Leppard frontman, Mr. Joe Elliott, let's get rocked, baby, and start this show in style because, he's wanted this appearance. He's seen Michael McMoney come on here a bunch of times. Courtney's been here about, I don't know how many times at this point. Daniel Tafu has been here. Godric Sandwell's here. The aftermath of After the Aftermath next Tuesday night. I mean, listen, even, I don't know, Dave Jameson was here recently. I mean, Wyatt Black's been here, and, well, he's been here a lot. And now I give our guest individually that opportunity to talk and to share his story. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show off on the road on style on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station where all music and wrestling matters. So, with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report. Number one, Gamble Sports Show. A man that definitely has money as the owner of Money Mark Media. A man that has done it all inside the ring and outside the ring. And right now, as one of the council members of Legit Alternative Wrestling, his name is simply put My friend, how are we doing?
Listen, Bryce, I am so happy to be here right now. You are the king of Timtros. I would just like to throw that out there. Nobody does a Timtro quite like Tom Bryce. I am very happy to finally get one.
Well, Rhino definitely said he wanted to run through a wall after getting it. Savio Vega said that was different. Doug Pinnick.
I'm ready to be the one. I'm ready to be the gorilla that takes on 100 men right now. So.
Well, I mean, I've had some interesting responses for it. Mark Kendall was like, yeah, that was interesting. I had Doug Pinnick of King X give me, he said, your voice is going to turn like James Hetfield of Metallica's. Let me tell you how. So everybody's certainly got an opinion. There's some people here, I'm sure, that aren't used to it, but by and large, it's our calling card. But it is good to hear from you. Obviously, a lot to talk about tonight. You were actually busy this weekend. We'll certainly get into that in a little while. But I'm going to give you the opportunity now to address a few things because obviously Courtney was here. She spoke about it. The man that it's in the chat that I'm sure certainly has a lot to do with your future and what's not involving it. Dave Jameson.
Oh, I had to hit comments. I see you all. I see
We're
you all
gonna
now,
get
by
to
the way.
them.
I
I'll
couldn't see
read
it first. I see you all in the chat now.
I'm going to read all of them in a little while, one by one. But I want to give you now, Timothy Titan, the opportunity for those that are listening and watching in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you and LAW most certainly helped build. Sportswire Radio. Your in-ring career is over, and how does it feel now to be officially no longer an in-ring competitor?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't semi-relieving. It's good to know that the person that okay, so I'm going to give you all the truth on the me and Dave Jameson situation right now, okay?
Okay. All right.
What you guys saw is what is called a brotherly squabble. It never should have went public. It never should have been something y'all seen. It was a personal matter that got out of hands. And I'd be lying if I said the majority of the fault wasn't on me.
Well, I mean, Courtney pretty much had a lot to say about that over the past few months. McMoney said a few
Another
things.
person, Courtney, has been giving me an earful since the original issue. So one of the people that made me realize just how big of an asshole I've been being was Courtney. So I will say that.
Well, let me ask you then this follow-up then. I mean, because you certainly said, yeah, this was something that shouldn't have been out there in the public. Certainly it involved when you were doing some film work and Day got tripped up. And then Day said his side of the story. He talked about the long-standing personal relationship that you've had with him. And certainly Courtney talked about that as well. But do you have any regrets on how things went down the last 3 months?
I regret the way that it had to happen, but I don't regret the outcome. Dave Jameson needed snapped back into reality, if you will. And at the end of the day, he has proven, because of me, that he is probably one of the best people on the indie scene right now, at least in the local area here.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know what? You said something interesting. When Day was here over a week ago, I did notice from when he came here the first time in December, that was December, today is May the 19th, and he has drastically come a long way from just where he was 6 months ago. So I don't know if you're the sole reason, but you might be one of many reasons. But just in how he came across in terms of how he spoke to the audience, the amount of people that were here, the engagements, just what he's done inside and outside the ring, there's no question, at least from my vantage point, from when I first had Day here on Sportswire back in December to when I had him here last Sunday, there is a dramatic upgrade.
And I can tell you that from the moment he decided to attack cameraman until now, I've also seen a drastic change. And I can honestly say that I now respect Dave Jameson. So,
but you didn't before, though.
You know what? It's not that I didn't respect him. It's that I remember little bright-eyed, chubby cheek.
Yeah, 8+ years.
Immediately.
8+ years. You know, this goes
That's
back.
what I'm. So I mean, it's like I wanted to see that bright eye, happy to be in the ring kid again, if that makes sense. And I think I brought that back out in him, and I'm happy for myself with that.
All right, let
So
me ask you. All right, there's a lot that you said here, and I'm telling you this is going to be a good one tonight. I already got the twinkle in your eye. I can see it. Sometimes they do these. There's one individual that's I'm not going to name that comes on here from time to time has said that some shows on Sportswire like Make a Wishes. This ain't going to be a Make a Wish one. But you said something interesting. You know, it's not. I can already feel it. But you said something interesting. Dave Jamieson, happy go lucky, right? This happy go lucky kid that's out there in the ring.
and you know what? I'm not saying happy go lucky. I apologize if that's how it came off. I'm saying when I remember the 13-year-old, bright-eyed, chubby-cheeked, happy to be their kid. And I wanted to see that happy to be in the ring kid again. I wanted to put him to a point where he remembered why he started this.
No, I get that, but there's a match coming up next month that he can't really be this wide-eyed kid,
Which,
happy-go-lucky. You know, he
by
can't.
the
He's
way,
got to
is
go.
basically this is another thing. That's basically that match is my apology letter to Dave Jamieson. That's me showing that I was paying attention when he was talking to me. I brought in what he told me years ago was his dream match. When Fuego first debuted on AEW, that was Dave Jamison's dream match. So, in a way, this match coming up on
Mhm,
June 13th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, is
mhm.
my apology letter to Dave Jamieson.
Well, that's some apology letter. There's no question about that. But I mean, what do you think from when you go back 8 years ago, right? When you first saw Dave Jamieson, you first connected with him to what ended up a few weeks ago at Cease and Desist. Did you ever say to yourself, "Hey, Dave Jamison's going to be what he is or what he's about to be in, I don't know, 6 months, a year from now"? I mean, do you think about those early encounters with him?
I do, and that's part of the reason why it hurt me so much to see him in the position he was in because I remember the 13, 14-year-old kid that was keeping up with us full-grown adults. Like, I remember the passion that he had, and it almost seemed like he had started to lose that passion. So that was my main mission in the end. Was I wanted Dave Jamieson to get that passion back and not waste the potential that he had.
Well, he's got something coming up, which we're going to talk about in a little while. But you said you don't really have any regrets about anything. But what will you miss about being in the ring? What will you miss about being an in-ring competitor?
I mean, I'm gonna miss a lot about it. I'm gonna miss the reaction of the audience. I'm gonna miss getting to work with amazing people. It's more my body shutting down at this point. Like my body just can't handle it. And instead of risking my safety and other people's safety by continuing to work when I probably shouldn't, I've decided to just kind of hang it up. So
Really, you know
it's
what?
not
I,
my
I give you
choice.
credit for admitting that because there's people that come on sometimes like, I just am going to keep going. I don't know. And, that's all I know. I mean, for you to just say, you know what? I can't do it anymore. And you're
Yeah.
totally transparent. I appreciate the honesty because it's a difficult thing. Even in sports, I've interviewed a lot of athletes. It's a topic in music. I get on a lot of these hard rock and heavy metal musicians. I'm about to have another one that's very well known to come on here. And it's a big topic in music. When do these bands say, I can't do it anymore? When do these bands say, well, we're basically going to fall off the stage and we can't go up there? I mean, it's a big topic with Ozzy right now. So, I mean, for you to come out right away and say, you know what? I can't do it the way that I once could do it, that no mas.
See, I'd rather hang it up than hurt myself or somebody else and make that be the point I realize. I'd rather realize before that moment happens. So
What advice would you give to any wrestlers who were in the same position that you were?
look for something else in wrestling that keeps you interested in wrestling. So, like you brought up the reffing. I do a lot of video editing for people and stuff like that. So it's like things and other things inside of wrestling can keep you in the business also. Like you don't have to be in the ring in that way.
Well, I mean, there's no question about that. And you've also done some other things with the Indie Vision podcast, also Money Mark Media. And obviously, this past weekend, which we'll get into in a little while, you were in the ring, but you weren't competing, rest assured.
No.
But I mean, we do have a show that's coming up here next Monday. It's called Aftermath on Memorial Day. And all veterans, I believe, get a 10% discount, which is really cool. I mean, obviously, we want to thank our veterans
You know
there.
what? On behalf of Timothy Titan, I'm going to make that at least 25. I didn't know it was only 10. I'm going to do at least 25 on that.
Well, you know what? I'm sure they could still show up anyway. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
We'll
Please.
we'll, we'll
Please.
get into that. But I mean, we've got a lot to talk about here in Aftermath, and we're gonna do a show here on Memorial Day. I'm gonna put some posters up here and talk about how excited you are for our show here next Monday. Before I put up some poster work and such.
I'm real excited. We're doing actually a collaboration show with Battle on the Border, which
Hmm.
I'm very, very excited about because I don't think enough wrestling organizations are willing to work together like this. So I really like that we found another company that's willing to kind of work with us in a way. So
And it gives wrestlers an opportunity to meet other people, network, see matches that maybe we wouldn't have got a chance to. And, I did also notice, because we talked about this when Courtney was here, that our world champion is going to be in action. He's going to be in action in a triple threat match. And that's certainly been quite a topic. And I was curious because, you did say that Godric Samuel, not once but twice, was going to be able to win the LAW championship. He was going to beat La El Shaddai, but that wasn't the case. We're going to get to Godric Samuel in a little while. But I was wondering, what do you think is going to happen here next Monday at Aftermath when we see La El Shaddai put up the LAW championship against one Matt Vengeance and the hype man, Dan Lasers?
I would have said that La El Shaddai was in a lot more danger about 2 or 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then they resurrected my former tag partner, just throwing it out there, Shadow the Clown. And I mean, knowing what he can do, I just don't think that anybody's going to be able to even get to Shaddai at this point.
I mean, especially right if Godric in that environment where the title could change hands on a disqualification or any type of outside shenanigans. It was a traditional wrestling match, and Godric.
Which also, I'm glad you brought that up. I've been reviewing tape recently, and I couldn't
Okay.
help but notice that Tommy Horror technically got involved in that match.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm gonna have to review exactly what the rules were going into that, but I'm just
Mm.
saying there may be a questionable finish there because there was
That
a point
happened a
where
few
Tommy
weeks
Horror
ago,
did
though.
technically get involved.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen the footage yet publicly, and I'm sure one of these days we'll get a chance to. But I mean, the match happened days ago now, almost 3 weeks ago. I mean, I don't think in the record books we're going to change the outcome. I mean,
I
you've had
mean, I'm
days
not
to
gonna
do
lie to
that.
you. I have enough money to do whatever I want. So if I want to change the outcome, I'll pay to change the outcome. I'm just saying. But I want to. You talked about the not seeing the footage. Our issue we're having right now is our commentator has been unfortunately on medical leave for a while now.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
instead of just releasing matches with no commentary, we were trying to give him time. However, we will be bringing in guest commentators to fill in for him at this point to try to get some of these shows out for you guys. So they are
Okay.
coming very soon, I promise you.
Well, that is certainly a difficult job. And I do, before I go back to the world championship situation, Michael McMoney wants to point out it's a 50% discount for veterans. So I want to make that
And you
clear
know
that
what?
50%.
100%. You bring a military card, free ticket.
You should, I mean,
I'll
listen,
double
though.
you, McMoney. How about that? How about that,
Well,
McMoney?
well,
Who's the
obviously,
money now?
we'll see. But I mean, you say, though, that La El Shaddai, eventually this title reign will end. But I mean, maybe let's just call a spade, and who's going to stop him at this point? I mean, Hype Man Dan Lasers just came in here. Matt Vengeance, sure, they both won Battle Royals to have this opportunity, but they're going to have to step in here with a man that he might be more mad. He might be more enraged than ever before. I mean, maybe these guys shouldn't show up. Maybe, you know what? They should give their tickets to the veterans. The veterans can show up for free. You can maybe book something else because Hype Man Dan Lasers and Matt Vengeance, considering what La El Shaddai has done here these last few months, and especially after everybody told me Godric's going to do it. Godric's got it. Godric's got it this time. It's going to be fair. And he came up short. I mean, at this point, La El Shaddai, he may reign here in LAW for years and years to come. And Hype Man Dan Lasers, who just came in here quicker than a New York Minute, and Matt Vengeance, with all due respect to both guys, maybe this isn't their time.
I mean, I can tell you that both Hype Man Dan Lasers and Matt Vengeance are two dudes you never want to count on anything. They are
Okay.
both great in the ring, both lots of passion, stuff like that. So I'm not saying that I'm fully counting either one of them out, knowing both of them,
Mm.
but with Ben Metal, Phantom, the big guy with the mask on, I can't remember what his name is. It's something like Pork Chop or something. That guy's scary as hell. And then you got Shadow the Clown, you got Tommy Horror. I mean, that dude has a bigger entourage than Puff Daddy at this point.
You know what? I will say this. I do a news show Wednesday nights, and the Diddy trial came up, and I was covering it with my co-host.
Oh.
Yeah, we were talking about it, and we don't really want to get into those details because
No,
that's a
no,
different
me
show for a
neither.
different time. But I mean, yeah, I agree with you. Hype Man Dan Lasers, outstanding competitor. Matt Vengeance, great competitor. But I mean, to go up in here, and these guys haven't had that success. They haven't had what La El Shaddai has had. You've been an in-ring competitor. I mean, what will it take for guys like Hype Man Dan Lasers and Matt Vengeance next Monday to potentially walk away with the LAW championship?
I think that they need to realize that they probably got to put any differences aside that they might have and work together. Because in the last video I seen, Shaddai's speaking English at this point, and I can't think of anything scarier off the top of my head than Shaddai actually being able to communicate with other people besides Tommy Horror. So, like I said, I never want to count either one of them out because I know that they're both great competitors, but I mean, like you're saying, Lyle Shaddai just almost seems unbreakable at this point.
I mean, I feel like with the way things are going in LAW, I mean, especially now with the new religion, I mean, I just don't know what these guys can do next Monday to walk away with the LAW championship, if that makes sense. I just don't know.
I mean, Shaddai has been through everything. I will remind you, Shaddai has technically lost in LAW one time in a tag match where he tagged with Mickey Knuckles.
Well,
So he is,
yeah, but that's not with the championship. He's as the
but
champion
it's
right
two
now.
people, two people as a team
Well,
could
the
possibly
math,
take down a champion.
I'll give you the math. I'm going to put the poster up here in a minute.
Roderick, Matt Vengeance, boom.
Well, okay, that might be something that if you're Matt Vengeance now, maybe that's something you hang your hat on that, you know what? I've been here in this instance. I've been here in a multi-person match with the incumbent, and maybe that's going to propel me to victory next Monday. You think that maybe that's something that's going through his mind?
Okay, yeah, you brought up Matt Vengeance. He really is the wild card in this match to me because he is the veteran. Like, I mean, man's been around how long? 20 plus years at this point, I believe, Matt Vengeance. And so, I mean, somebody like Godric, who's been 2 years in the business, Shaddai, I mean, I don't even know where he came from. I'd be lying if I said I knew where he even came from. He just kind of showed up covered in blood one day and started beating people up. I don't like.
Well, it reminds me of famously. There's a Slayer video. It's a video. It's from God Hates Us All, and they're basically just playing in blood. And it's not rain in blood, but it's
Yep.
a different video. But it's kind of like that. But maybe somebody, your money, maybe you'll get a Slayer song for a while. Should I? But that's a different show for a different time. But you said something interesting in that Vengeance has experience. He's got
He
20
does.
plus years in this sport. And maybe that's something that he can count on to victory, whereas Hype Man Dan Lasers is still new in the game. He's still, well, let's just say maybe not green, but definitely greener compared to Matt Vengeance. So if I'm the veteran Vengeance, I've been here before. I've been in these kind of spots. I've been a guy that can show I can hang with guys like La El Shaddai. With my experience, maybe that's something that's not going to phase me, not going to be already because I've got a victory against La El Shaddai in a tag match with Godric. That maybe that's something I can say, you know what? I definitely belong here. I'm the guy that has the experience. I'm the veteran of this match, and maybe that will help him walk away with that LAW championship next Monday. What's your thoughts on all that?
I don't disagree with that. I think Dan Lasers has the potential to be like that quarterback that there's not enough footage on, but he's talented enough to just completely run over defenses. Like
Not Shador
we haven't
Sanders, then, basically.
we haven't seen enough from him to really form a defense, and I think he's talented enough to use that to his advantage in a way of like you can't really scout him if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
so
Like,
I
you can
guess
kind of scout him, but
Sure, but I guess in one way you could look at it then and saying, well, maybe that makes him also dangerous because if I'm La El Shaddai or Matt Vengeance, I don't really have much tape from him. I don't have.
You yeah, you don't know what he's capable of, really.
Well, we're gonna find out, and obviously this is the poster here. We're very excited about this card here coming up, and we'll have Michael McMoney
Absolutely.
here Friday night. He's got to follow you up Friday night. I'm gonna talk about him in a few
Yeah,
minutes, but
yeah,
if you
follow
are
this, McMoney.
I'm gonna plain to say there, but 325 7th Street. You know, it's funny. I was talking with one of my friends who's a wrestler in a neighboring state, and he was asking me, so where is LAW? And I right away said 325 7th Street, the Richardson Building in Parkersburg, West Virginia. And he was like, "Wow, you just remember that?" I'm like, "Yeah." At this point, 325 7th Street, the Richardson Building in Parkersburg, West Virginia, is almost like memorized in my brain of like my former home address, 420. 1209, 938 71st. It's almost like it's this.
Hmm.
At this point, I'm gonna remember this when I'm dead. I'm gonna remember this address. So that's where you need to be. We're gonna see this match plus a number of other matches I'm gonna get to here shortly. It's gonna be, guess what, only $10. If you're gonna see Mission Impossible this weekend, you're gonna spend 2-3 times that, maybe 4 or 5 times throwing in popcorn, drink, and maybe souvenir. And only $10 get you into the Richardson Building. And we're gonna see here La El Shaddai, Hype Man Dan Lasers, and Matt Vengeance for that LAW championship. And we're here to talk about that and a number of topics with the one and only Mr. Timothy Titan. So obviously we've talked about this here, and I want to talk about the man that lost that championship to La El Shaddai, and a man that you actually saw in the ring this past weekend here, oddly enough. And yeah, I'm going to show that footage here for a few minutes. He's going to be here for the aftermath of Aftermath. That'll be next Tuesday night, Mr. Godric Sandwell. And I mean, so, I'm sure you heard what I asked McMoney. It definitely disappointed Courtney the way she had to answer that. Dave Jamieson, when I asked about Godric Sandwell, where does he go from here, was like, I'm not answering that. I don't want to go there. But you just were in the ring with him. You refereed his match. You know Godric Sandwell very well. You've interviewed Godric Sandwell on your podcast. And I ask you, again, the most difficult question you may get here tonight. What is the future of Godric Sandwell in LAW?
Well, Roderick Sandwell is one of them people that I think he's talented enough to where his future is whatever he wants it to be. I think that if he wants to make another run for the championship, he possibly could. If he wants to make a run at the Indie Vision Championship, he possibly could. Man, that referee's good looking. If he wants to
You got the
form a
man
tag
bun
team and
going,
make
I
a run at
saw
the
there.
tag titles. Also, this only happened because the original ref got hurt. This was in no way planned. So
Okay, all right. So you just happen to have had a ref shirt with you there. Oh, okay, that's clever.
well, I'm wearing that. If you look, it's way too tight. I'm wearing Mac's ref shirt. It's way too tight on
Oh,
me.
okay. Okay. Well, we didn't get Ian there, who has been here before a bunch of times on Sportswire. But
Yeah, see, yeah.
But Godric, I agree with you. Listen, Godric is an outstanding competitor. He comes on here every month. We're going to talk about this match next Tuesday. We're going to talk about what happens here in the Richardson Building next Monday. We're always going to have a lot to talk with Godric. A lot of guys like seeing Godric on here, and I like Godric. Godric, listen, my mother even liked watching Godric on here, which is probably a good thing because she probably liked to see Godric on more here than I would. But but the point is that it's very difficult to win a world championship if you haven't won one. And you know where I'm going with this. And Godric's one of those guys that hasn't been quite yet over to get over the hurdle. McMoney famously said, and I asked him that question, well, what if Godric doesn't win at cease and desist? Will he ever win the big one? He said, it's not a no, but not yet. Where do you fall on that question?
I think that Godric Sandwell is too. He would win a title if he wasn't so set on manners. He wants to do everything gentlemanly.
He was trying when he was here last time. You saw a different temper. You saw a different treat. The devil in the blue coat, Daniel Tafu, came here and was riling him up. I mean, people were they really were behind him. And I just wonder, because is Godric one of those guys like you see all too often in this sport or in the other major sports that can't win the big one? And I just wonder.
I don't think that for him. I think it's too soon. I don't disagree with not now. I think that for somebody who's less than 2 years in the business, he has shown leaps and bounds and got himself to a point where nobody expected him to get, to be completely honest. Because when I was wrestling full time, I
Mhm.
actually wrestled matches that Godric Sandwell refereed. So it's a weird thing that I'm reffing a Godric Sandwell match, knowing that Godric Sandwell refed some of my matches in the past.
It's
So I
almost
mean,
like
it's kind of like a full
a
circle
Saved by
thing.
the Bell episode where it's like Zach goes back in time and has to do a timeout. You probably have to do the same thing there just now, over 48 hours ago.
Yeah, so I in no way doubt Godric will one day be a world champion. Like I don't see that not being the truth. Like I'm comfortable saying one day
Yeah.
you can money mark my words.
And I
Godric
think a lot
Sandwell is
of
going to be a
people
world
want to see
champion.
Godric win it. I think there's a lot of people that are behind him. He's a great talent. We love having him here on Sportswire. I mean, he's traveled all over the place. He's definitely deserving of it, but I just wonder what you have to do to get there and win it. I mean, you've been a competitor. You've seen a lot in your career. Now you're on the other side here, fully in LAW. And I just wonder what that transition, something I've been talking about a lot in my career. We're doing this 6.5 years. And I talk about this sometimes with guys. Guys sometimes have a difficult transition from being the hunter to the hunted. But in Godric's case, he's still got to get over that from being the hunter to the hunted. And it's just, you just wonder how difficult that transition is.
And see, Godric has the unfair advantage or unfair disadvantage of no matter how many matches he wins, he's always the underdog in every match he comes into for some reason. Like even this match you're showing against Matt McCoy, even though he's coming in as champion, I believe he was still coming in as the underdog technically. So if he can get over that hurdle where people start to take him more serious and doesn't see him as such an underdog, I think that that's a lot of it.
Well, I mean, maybe more experience will help with that. I mean, we did see a little bit, I think, in a tone that changed a bit here a few weeks ago on Sportswire. I'll be very curious what Godric has to say next Tuesday. I think he's here at 9 o'clock Eastern time. So
I'm
definitely.
beyond curious, trust me.
Oh, I'm very listen.
I say he's ghosted me since the last show, so
Well, you were
I'm
just in the
very
ring with.
curious to hear what he has to
Wait.
say.
You were just, but you're just in the ring with him here, though.
Yeah, but he wasn't. We weren't talking about LAW. Here's
But
the
you were
thing.
still in the ring
Me and
with him, though.
Godric, but here's the thing. Me and Godric are both professionals,
I
so
understand.
I'm not thinking about anything LAW when I'm repping for Express Wrestling. I'm concentrated on the match. I'm making sure both competitors are staying safe. I'm making sure the audience is safe. That a professional puts the rest of that stuff out of his head, and that's what I am. So
Well, yes, you were definitely doing that there, but I mean that's certainly revealing there that you and Godric Sandwell haven't spoken since cease and desist. That's revealing.
I
That's a
mean,
pretty
it is
revealing
very
point
revealing.
there.
I hear that I'm not the only person, though. I hear that I'm not the only person that he's kind of being distant from right now. I think he's trying to refine himself. And like you said, where does Godric Sandwell go from here? I think
That's what
Godric
I think
Sandwell
because
is also trying to figure that out.
I think it's really a question that I mean I'm gonna definitely ask him. I think it's been on my mind
Please,
since.
please. It's killing
Oh,
me.
I'm
Please
going
ask
to
him.
listen. I mean, it's been on my mind for almost 3 weeks now, and Godric's going to be here. But I just really think that it's a difficult thing when everything seemed like Godric was going to walk away with the LAW championship at cease and desist, and then for him not to win it. I just wonder where does he go from here and what that will be like because again, I mean, he got these shots. He fought for the honor, certainly of Pepper Pride, to go in there and go toe to toe with Lyle Shaddai. He put up certainly, I mean, what he did against Lyle Shaddai definitely deserves all the praise in the world, but he didn't walk away with the ultimate prize. And you just have to wonder where does somebody like that in an LAW landscape? I know in Express Wrestling, he got the Three Rivers Championship back. That was obviously something that meant a lot to him at the Berg Brawl. but now he's got to figure out where to go in LAW for me. I think that's certainly an interesting question here. But as I keep
Well,
this,
I mean, I can tell you his next two matches are on Memorial Day at Aftermath, like you mentioned. He will
yes,
be part of a six-man as one of the
mm,
three representatives for LAW in a
mm-hmm.
scramble match.
Okay.
And then on June 13th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Godric Sandwell will go against Soul Taker.
Whoa! So a man that listen, they team together in Express Wrestling. I've seen that here on this platform. The one and only Soul Taker. Whoa! You want to talk about a main
Guys,
event match?
in a match requested by Soul Taker.
Just wait a minute.
When I contacted Soul Taker about coming in for June 13th, he said yes if he can have Godric Sandwell. So
So the Soul Taker. I mean, where no souls matter, all souls matter. I mean, he wants Godric Sandwell's soul. He wants it.
I think he does. I think he does.
Whoa! I mean, you want to talk about that's a main event. Listen, that match doesn't need a championship. That's a match that you want to talk about. I mean, if we didn't have the artist formerly known as Fuego de Sol on this card, I mean, I would say that could be the main event right there. Soul Taker and Godric Sandwell.
I'm drooling at the thought of it. Trust me.
Are you putting the referee shirt on for that?
I might have to. I might have to for that one.
I wouldn't blame you. I would certainly want to front row seat. Wow, what an announcement that you did promise the other day that there would be announcements, and yeah,
and that's nothing yet. Trust me. The best is yet to come, Mr. Bryce.
Yeah, that's a line I certainly use, and I'm sure people like that. But that's okay. But wow, Godric Sandwell is going to be a part of the scramble match at Aftermath next Monday. And then on top of that, he's back on the 13th against Soul Taker. And I want to talk about that for a minute. And I want to come back to the people in the chat. I want to get to a number of different things. There's a lot to talk about. But, I mean, this is LAW's first show outside of the Richardson building here on 325 7th Street in Parkersburg, West Virginia, coming up on
Money Mark. I'm gonna correct you there. McMoney got a little ahead of himself when announcing that LAW had a Pennsylvania license because LAW doesn't have a Pennsylvania license.
I see.
Money Mark Media has a Pennsylvania license. So on June 13th, if I allow McMoney to call it LAW or whatever, I mean, it's Money Mark Media presents The Revolution will be YouTubed.
So this will, so let's go about it in a different way, right? So June 13th is a match that's going to be with this, and other ones are going to be outside of the Richardson building. We can confirm that.
Absolutely.
Right?
I will say yes. LAW talent will be working outside of the Richardson building, 100%.
Okay, so which was going to be my next point. So LAW talent are going to get an opportunity now for the first time to work outside of the Richardson building. What do you think that's going to be like for guys in the locker room? This is a big opportunity for them. What is your thoughts on that as the man that's putting the show together? What do you think this will be for guys in the locker room and how it will motivate them?
I hope excites them. I hope that some of them realize that it's a big opportunity. Like you're getting a chance to work out of state. I know it's really hard for me to get that out of state connection, and some of these people are just being like, here, let's come out of state now. And it's a good to spread everything. I mean, I always feel like indie wrestling is a bunch of little bubbles inside of a bigger bubble. So if you can get the bubble and get into some other bubbles, that's.
Do you know what it's like in politics? They use a term when you're on a campaign, you're trying to find votes or areas of concentration. They call that clusters. And indie wrestling, in a lot of ways, like these different places, whether it's LAW, whether it's Express Wrestling, whether it's the WVW, whether it's Enterprise, whether it's Amplified Pro Wrestling, right? All these different places, right? It's all little clusters. So basically, sometimes what should happen is that these clusters, and you guys are doing that with BOTB, Battle on the Border, but what you guys are doing there was what should be done with a lot of other places, where you get these little clusters and let's see if we can put them together and almost make something that's going to just get really big and explode. And could be one of those opportunities.
If a lot of people work together more, I feel like a lot of places could be bigger than either one of them together.
Because if you put everybody together,
Yeah, you could be bigger than either one of you are and benefit.
I've been
both
talking
you
about
guys.
this for you know how many years I've been talking about this on my platform for about 5 years. I've had countless
Yeah.
British guys. We have a guy Vito Fratelli Thursday night who's been in the PWI 500 2 years in a row. Gary Wolf talked about this last week, so
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
something that I do believe in, and I've talked about it for years. I think if there's companies out there, whether it's LAW, whether it's WVW, whether it's Express, whether it's Enterprise, whether it's Amplify, whether it's WDWA, whether it's 8-1, whatever it is, whatever these companies are out there, I think if there's an opportunity to present itself, why not? And I think coming up here in a few weeks in Pittsburgh, it's going to be that opportunity where LAW talents are going to have that shot to shine, and it could maybe make things for everybody a lot bigger
Yeah.
and better. You know?
That's what I think. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that people see this for the let's work together. It is like it's me saying let's all just make the best show we can. It's crazy that
Well,
everybody's
I want to
fighting
talk.
for fans.
I want to get to the chat because a lot of people want to talk to you, but I want to ask you a couple of things rankings wise. Obviously, Dave Jamieson, #1 once again, Kings and Queens magazine, light heavyweights. Pepper Pride,
Not saying that my motivation got him to #1, but I'm also saying like, hey, just throwing it out there. You're welcome.
Well, Godrick's #3. I believe the Pattersons in the tag division are #4. Pepper Pride is #2. She's our in division champion in the women's rankings. And,
Yes,
I
she
wanted
is.
to get your reactions on a number of LAW talents being ranked as high as they are. And what do you think that means to you, the council, and the company?
I think it's great, to be honest with it. Like, I'm very happy that we have so many talents from us representing as high as they are. Like you said, Day #1, Pepper #2, I think. Like our
Pepper's
tag team
#2, the
champion.
Pattersons are #4. Yep. Godrick's
Yeah.
#3 in the light heavyweight division. Yep.
So I mean, I love that a lot of our quote unquote core talent is so highly ranked on a publication like that. It makes me very happy.
But especially with the amount of companies that are on there. You know, a lot of the companies that are on my platform are a part of that. You have names that come here like the Blaze Ace Christians, who's on that list. You have people like Anton Nathan, who's been here. You have companies like Enterprise, Amplify, WDWA, DBW, which was just here this past week. So it's a really, I think, really nice mix of different companies. And for a company like LAW to be starting out really relatively as a newer company compared to many of those companies, I mean, it's got to motivate you and the rest of the council to put more talent out there and to continue to represent those rankings as high as they are.
I agree with that. I think a lot of it shows that we're just picking the right talent too. I think that's a big thing. Is like we're doing a lot of research on certain people we book. Like Day wasn't brought in by accident. Godric wasn't brought in by accident. Pepper wasn't brought in by accident.
Well,
You know
Pepper,
what I mean? Like
I've said it a million times about Pepper. She is a protege of this guy Rhino who just competed for the NWA.
okay, do you want another huge announcement right now? Since we brought up Pepper Pride, she's involved in said announcement. So I'll give it now, okay?
All right.
So on July 11th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, you will see Pepper Pride versus AEW's Abaddon.
Whoa! No. Can you repeat that again? Because I might have to get my ears checked. Do me a favor. Repeat that again.
Well, I will gladly repeat that again. On July 11th, and Tommy might fix this date for me, but I'm almost positive it's July 11th. You will see Pepper Pride versus AEW's Abaddon.
Whoa!
Also a part of that show, Mr. Bryce.
Yeah.
Rhino.
Whoa, no.
Former Sportzwire guest, Rhino, also on said show.
Whoa! Well, the Man Beast, the War Machine, is going to be on that show July 11th. Boy, what a small world the wrestling world is. Because you know what? Not only is Pepper Pride wrestling AEW talents, the Man Beast, the War Machine himself, is going to be on that show. Boy, I mean, somebody wake me up. Is this a dream or reality? Because that's what I want to know. Because
it is absolutely reality.
Wow. I mean, boy, you're dropping bombs left and right. I mean, I only shudder at Omen Black has to follow you tomorrow night. I mean, on his platform, I only shudder at what he's going to say tomorrow night. But wow, I mean, you certainly, one month, June 13th, coming up, we got
Sorry,
the
it
artist.
is July 19th. It is July 19th. I am being corrected in the chat right now. It is July 19th, not July 11th. I apologize. It is
Well,
July 19th. And I am not a jackass, Tommy.
well, you know what? I think we got the point, though, is that nevertheless, July 19th, Pepper Pride is taking on AEW talent. We've got Rhino himself going to wrestle, and that's certainly. And oh, by the way, before that, June 13th, this artist formerly known as Fuego del Sol is going to wrestle Day Jameson. I mean, in a dream match. And knowing you, you'll probably
Jameson's dream match.
And you know what? Knowing you, you'll probably get Lee Moriarty versus Day Jameson one of these because I shared it on Instagram.
I'm trying. I'm trying hard. Trust me.
Oh, I think you will. I have no doubt about it that you will. But boy, there's a lot to talk about. I want to give the chat an opportunity to talk because there's a lot I want to talk to you about. I still want to talk to you about Michael McMoney, who's here Friday. I still want to talk to you about Wyatt Black. I still want to talk to you about a lot of different things. Plus, I got something for you after I get to the chat. But let me get to the chat because a lot of people want to talk to you. A big crowd here tonight. Courtney Wood, who's always she's first here, by the way. Zilla's usually number one. It was Courtney who was first. There you go. Let's hear what this a-hole has to. I'm not going to say
it's not this a-hole. It's that a-hole. Okay.
Well, I mean, obviously, she still got an axe to grind against you, and some of it you did kind of explain.
I don't blame her.
It's always good to see Courtney, and she'll be back, I'm sure, very soon. Judo Jones is here, who's
Judo Jones is another one of them dudes who is, I think, an underrated LAW talent right now.
And yeah, I think a lot of talent in LAW are underrated, and we're trying to get them more rated, and that's why we have them here in the chat right now. And how you doing? Yes, thank you very much.
Hi, Kitty.
How you doing?
That's a kitty picture.
Well, yes, and I think somebody was.
I talk to you in
cat,
chat all the time. I probably get to say hi in person.
Somebody's cat was upset at mine, so me my intro. So I can tell you that that's how it goes. Chris Phoenix, another guy that's obviously an up and comer here in LAW. Another guy that
also he has a match on the Memorial Day show. Also, you will see a Chris Phoenix match on Memorial Day in the Parkersburg in Parkersburg at the Richardson Building. So
325 7th Street,
there you go.
The Richardson Building in Parkersburg, West Virginia. I have never been there. Courtney, I was asking Courtney the other day, well, what's West Virginia like? And she was explaining it to me, and I was like, well, I got this address memorized like my home addresses. And there you go. But thank you, Chris, and good to see Chris. And Day Jameson, the man that has certainly been the topic of most of the first 45 minutes. I am here to be Tim-telligent. And you also...
That shows of great Tim-telligence.
You also refereed his match that I saw earlier today in Express Wrestling. Boy, the irony of this.
Yes.
The irony of this.
And like I said, the big thing with me, Dave Jameson, it should have went public. It should have been something that me and him talked about, hugged it out.
Yeah.
But I held a grudge, and I took it too far. I completely blame myself on this whole thing at this point. Like... We had a conversation. Me and him had a conversation in the locker room after our match that was filmed, but I've decided not to release it because our personal business doesn't need to be out there that much. All that anybody needs to know is that I respect A. Jameson, and I'm done. I will not let my emotions get out of control like that again.
But you're a veteran, though, right? You've been in this game a long time.
I use that. We use that word lightly, but
I mean, you're relatively speaking, right? You're a veteran, right? You've obviously done a number of different things in wrestling. You've held a number of different roles. So why did you let it then get to the best of you when it came to Day? Why?
Because like I said, it was more of the memory of that bright-eyed 13-year-old in the ring, and I was like, who the hell is this punk that he turned into? Like, this isn't the Day Jameson I remember. This isn't the Day Jameson that I met. Like, this is a different person at this point. So I didn't feel like I was fighting the Day Jameson I respected. I was fighting the monster that he had become for a while.
And maybe you thought that his ego needed to be taken down a notch.
Maybe, yeah. I think that had a little bit to do with it, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we got a lot more comments. Let me get to him. My buddy Ox McCoy, who wrestled Kato, a favorite of yours, and these two men, let me just say, watch their match in the IMF's Rage in the Cage that took place last 2 weekends ago.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, okay.
yeah, he does look like that. And yeah, let's just say kids don't try this at home. And Ox is definitely a favorite of mine, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot about him tomorrow night. But you're here first. And our friends of Kings and Queens Indie
Kings and
Wrestling Magazine are
Queens.
here. I always love when they're here.
132. I'm ranked 132 of the heavyweights. Just throwing it out there. Let's go.
Well, how much longer do you think you'll be ranked, though, considering you're no longer in ring competing?
Seems like about another month, huh?
Well, you know what? All right, let me ask you one slight point. I asked Day what that meant to him, right? And Rhino. Speaking of him, I asked him famously about being in the top 10 of the PWI 500. I was one of the few people to have ever asked him a question that somebody hadn't. And is it a big deal, do you think, as a wrestler to be ranked that high? And would you rather be ranked, let's say, number one, number two, or then hold the championship? I mean, is that something that, are they similar, different? What's your thoughts on things like that?
I mean, I'm happy to even be on the list, to be acknowledged. Like, it shows that somebody at least saw it, if that, like, just to be included in anything like that, I appreciate it. So,
Yeah, I do think it's a big deal because I know when I get some of the bands on and some of them have had a few hits and I talk to them about it and they will, Great White Once Bitten Twice Shy was number 5 in the Hot 100. And it was like, yeah, they were
yeah,
definitely keeping it, they were keeping tabs on it and looking at it. So for sure. Why am I even here? Well, I don't know.
I
You
was
have
wondering the same thing.
to tell
Yeah.
me why.
Bye.
Oh,
Bye,
I
Tommy.
see. And I see a man that is a mutual friend of ours, Andrew Lovelace. I see Peanut Butter and
Mr.
Jelly
Loveless.
doing different things.
Yep.
I
They
mean,
actually introduced a new finisher at the show on Saturday that looked really good. I like their new finisher. It's called the Panty Dropper. So
I was gonna say, I don't know if I was gonna say it. I'm glad you did. It certainly got
I'll
a lot
say
of.
it.
Well, I can't because I'm not. But I will say that I did see on Facebook it got several thousand views, and
Yeah.
maybe we'll see that finishing move in LAW.
I think it's definitely a possibility now that we're not running Wednesdays. Our big issue with booking some people was they couldn't do Wednesdays. So we
Yeah.
have a couple non-Wednesday shows to get them kind of people into stories also now. So
I think that's certainly understandable. Wednesdays, it's give or take. I mean, you get to set yourself apart, but at the same time, people, if they have responsibilities, different things. So I get both sides of the coin. And we're here with Timothy Titan. He is also the man behind Money Mark Media, the Indie Vision podcast. He's also a referee this past weekend at Express Wrestling's latest show. He's also, of course, a council member from our friends of Legit Alternative Wrestling, who are getting ready for their next show here coming up next Monday. It's called The Aftermath. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, where all music and wrestling matters. Kings and Queens, yes, they are here. And LFG, let's go. Who else we got here? You're here so law doesn't get fined. And
probably.
speaking of the other half of Peanut Butter and Jealous, Max Hammer is here. It's Hammer time, and we'll maybe one day get the hammer back.
I
And
know you are, but what am I?
well, Nerds was a candy, right? Which I could never put that in my mouth. You ever have the Nerds candy? Remember the little like pocket Nerds? They had these. They were
No,
like,
yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I'm not a
I couldn't
fan.
eat them. Yeah, me either. I couldn't. I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. And here's the ultimate nerd hammer. I was baking cinnamon rolls too. Shaddai loves them. Now he's upset. Cinnamon rolls.
Are
Okay.
you injecting blood into your cinnamon rolls? Because that's the only way Shaddai is going to enjoy them.
Maybe that actually adds something to them. Maybe it gives an extra, I don't know, a taste. Maybe
I guess. Don't
more
bash it
sugar.
till you try it, I guess.
Doesn't blood have sugar in it? I mean, I suppose it makes sense. Hello there. How you doing? Hello. Oh my
Kavod.
Yep.
Oh my God. Yeah,
Yeah.
Kavod. Holy cow. Hi, Kavod. Wow.
And yeah, well, maybe that could just mean more things for you ahead. And yeah, I mean, I don't know even work here, but why not? I mean, well,
No.
anything you want to say?
I'm blown away by the fact that Mr. Kavod is here in the chat. That's incredible. I was at a battle royal with him, but I got eliminated before I even got to work with him. So
Well, maybe
I
maybe you'll work with him again one day. It's a
I'd
different
say I
capacity.
beyond appreciate the fact of you being here, Mr. Kavad. Thank you.
And we appreciate that too. And if you are here, hit the sub button for us. And if anybody wants to come on the platform, like Mr. Kavad, the door is most certainly open. He's gonna puke, which would don't.
Good. That's because
That
you're
was
drinking blood.
Well, that was famously the character, I think, of Draz when he was with the
Yep.
Legion of
Puke.
Doom. Yeah, who puked. But let's not puke on the air. Day is the future of this business, and yeah, and then you know what? I'm glad Courtney basically asked the question that I would have mentioned. I sort of did, but didn't. You should come to law, and that would certainly shake things up. And you are Money Mark Media, and who knows, right? Never,
I
never
say
say
I'm
never to quote one guest.
Kavad is a very difficult person to get a hold of. So I'm not saying that I haven't tried, but I'm also not saying that I did try.
We will feed Kavad to Shaddai as well. Well, maybe that's why he won't show up, or maybe he will.
Yeah, maybe.
You have a nice shirt on. You have a nice shirt on.
Oh, thank you. Boom. Yeah.
Great shirt,
Flawless.
actually. What about the cinnamon rolls? Well, that's a good. We'll find out. Boo. And yeah, you know what? You're not the first cat that's been mad at my intros. There's been a few people. I think my guest Thursday, Jake Dvorak, said something like he woke up once at 2:00 in the morning and heard my intro still. So that was a funny one. Jake will talk about that more on Thursday night. Yeah, understandable. Yeah, not the first one. Obviously, you've got some people here. We get it. Well, you got the intro, and you know, if Rhino could enjoy it and Doug Pinnick, who played at Woodstock, can enjoy it, I think we're going to continue the interest. But thank you, though. I appreciate it very much. But it's all good, all fun. Tommy Horror's cat is a fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks.
I can, you know what? I can 100% approve this message. Tommy Horror's cat is a dick.
There you go. Say that twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone should sneak attack Timothy Titan right now. That has happened on Sportswire a few times, but is your doors locked tonight? Your doors are locked tonight. Nobody's.
Yeah, I got everything locked up.
One of my guests, Sean,
rehired
told
another.
me this has happened to him twice on air before, so I want to make sure that this doesn't happen.
See, I made a huge mistake of when it happened the first time. I fired the security guard. I didn't hire another security guard, so the second time happened. That's another thing that's kind of on me, if I'm being completely honest. So
okay, well,
I have three security guards now. So even if the first two mess up, the third one can hopefully pull his crap together. And
you know what? I do have a friend of mine who's a security guard. Maybe he should work for you instead of working in Midtown Manhattan. This guy says the same thing all the time. Thank you very much, but I'll let you know when Ricochet comes on.
I'll call Ricochet. He's bald.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what? I'm sure he'll come on one day. But then again, some people say he doesn't talk, but he'll talk on here. Trust me. Proud of you, Tim. Yep, we're definitely proud of you. Yep, we're in our Indie Vision network, and obviously Pepper Pride is the champion. And real quick on that. Talk about Pepper Pride being the Indie Vision champion. We talked about her for a minute, obviously, with the announcement of July 19th rather than July 11th. But Pepper Pride being the first Indie Vision champion, and talk about how do you feel about it?
I love the fact that Pepper Pride won that championship. That match was put together in a certain direction of, I don't care who wins this match, I'm going to be happy with the champion. That's why them four were in there, basically, is win or lose, it's a win for me, regardless of who gets the title. So if it would have been Mickey, if it would have been Soul Taker, if it would have been Tafua or Pepper, I would have been happy with it.
But I think
Pepper, she looks so good with it too. Look at her.
I was going to say, and I think Pepper holding the championship and considering what she's been doing throughout the wrestling circuit these last several months, I really think it's a big deal. And I think that she is the person to represent that championship. And I said it when Courtney was here last time, that I do believe that Pepper Pride, not only being ranked number 2 in the Kings and Queens top women's wrestlers, but when they have the PWI for all of the women's wrestlers that they rank, she's going to be in there this year because with Pepper, she's going to be there.
I 100% think that. As far as in-ring talent goes, I think she's a top 10 on the indies right now.
I think somebody, I don't know if it was on one of the shows Courtney was on, but there was somebody that mentioned that they had her like in the top 3 or 4. So, I mean, there's no question.
Yeah, I mean, as far as actual in-ring talent goes on the indies, she's one of the best in my opinion.
And like I said, she's a protege of Rhino. She's a part of IWR. My old friend James Fury, has certainly, been in the ring with her. And Godric, obviously, we saw how that happened. And I think that she's definitely the right person at the right time And congratulations to Pepper Pride on being the first Indie Vision champion. They always remember the first, and she's got that. We'll take this
Harvey
off.
Queen.
Yep. And you can't see us. You're blind and deaf and shadow box. Okay. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate you saying I helped you. So there you go. Courtney
Thank
gave
you,
me a nod.
Courtney.
That's great. Thank you, Tom. Anytime. Yep. We're talking about Day in the win. Let's go, Day. Yep. Day is definitely one of those up and comers. And the fact that he's going to be in the ring with the artist formerly known as Fuego del Sol, that shows you a lot. Day is definitely
I can't wait. That's another match that I'm literally drooling at the thought of, Tom.
And
I
I think, you
cannot
know
wait
what?
to see
I
that
said
match,
it when
man.
he was here. I feel like, and I told him this off the air, like, I get him here now on Sportswire because, like, in a year from now, he ain't going to be on here that much. He's going to
No.
be all over the place. So that's for sure.
He's gonna be getting paid to work out in a year.
He's going to be like my guest Thursday, Vito Fratelli, who hasn't been here in almost 2 years, who's been in the PWI 500 two going on 3 years in a row, and just wrestled this past weekend some guy, Chris Masters. So that's where he's
Okay.
going. Yeah, he just wrestled. He wrestled
Yeah.
Alexander Hammerstone, TJP. He's like a guy, Mexico, California.
See, I actually know Hammerstone, so yeah.
Yeah, Hammer. But Vito wrestled him when he was the MLW champion. I want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Doc Holliday, who I saw in a photo with my friends over at NEW. The legendary Doc Holliday is here, and never too big to talk to you. All right, well, we'll see. We'll certainly see. I want to say hello to my High Chief, my Samoan Dragon, Il Drago. Wants to say hello to everybody, and he'll be a big topic tomorrow night. Godric is here. Warm greetings to all tonight, Mr. Titan. I will admit some surprise to your words.
I mean, Godric knows I respect him. I've never been mean to Mr. Godric at all. Or Mr. Sandwell at all. He knows how I feel about him.
And Mr. Horner,
I'm surprised at his surprise.
And obviously, you have now. He, in his words, says you've gone soft.
Okay, at least I don't have to get some weird sick cannibal to come in and fight my fights for me.
Well, you know what? I'm going to leave that at that because the new religion will certainly be holding court. I have no doubt next Monday. There's Dave Jameson for you. How are you tonight, Godric? That's a great question. Delighted to still be champion from Saturday's gala. Absolutely. Congratulations to Godric on a big win.
Yes.
This is what you call a professional. Safety is important. Yes. I want to say hello to the Ryan James Battle Memorial winner from our friends over in the WVWF, the Prodigy, who's here at all of my shows.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What's up, James?
Yep.
Okay, yep.
You won it. Yep. And
congratulations.
We were going to have Maverick on, but he didn't win the championship. Aaron James is still the champion, but so many questions there. And then we're going to get to that man after some comments in the chat who didn't win the championship. Yes, Michael McMoney, but the other part of that, Wyatt Black. The new Wyatt Black. Yeah, we're going to see that. Hashtag Godric for champion. A lot of people still believe in Godric, and I think that that's going to continue. Yep, hello. Thank you, Zilla, for that. Godric, we need to book round 2 at WVWF, my friend. You know what? Could be. Mr. Titan, you are owed a debt of gratitude for Saturday as well. And for you, Prodigy, I concur. And I'm sure Lester can do the right thing and book it again. And I did say this earlier. Thank you, Mr. McMoney, for correcting us. Tommy Hara was reprimanded by the Indie Vision Disciplinary Board for that. Boy, you got councils, you got boards, and you want to check out Godric Sandwell on the Indie Vision Network, on the Indie Vision podcast, you can. And also, I'm not a competitor, and I never get involved. I am handy. Yeah, you know what? Well, he has a good excuse. I mean, to be fair, a legitimate excuse. He has a legit.
I'd feel worse if he didn't put himself in every situation he ended up in. Like,
well, I mean,
you're the one out there claiming to be the champion, holding the belt up, gloating in front of everybody with your monster behind you, and now you got a second.
Some people said Bill Belichick won the Super Bowls for the New England Patriots, and he's kind of the Bill Belichick for LAW right now. He's,
I mean, you're really blowing smoke up his ass, comparing him to Bill Belichick.
Well, listen, guys on top.
I would say Bill Belichick won multiple Super Bowls. Tommy Hora went out in the wild and found a psychopath and released him on society. You know what, I would not compare them to.
You know what, though? He's still on top.
All right. I mean, if that's what you call it, I call it a felony.
I don't know each state's felony laws, but I'll leave that at that. As LAW's historian, how much money are you offering to change the history books? You did say that earlier. That's actually a duly noted point.
I mean, I'll fire you and hire the person that will do it.
Well, we're going to leave that at that. I wouldn't ask you to pay to change an outcome, even in my favor. Even this devil in the blue coat retains an honorable practice, and he'll talk about that next Thursday.
See, there it is. That's what I'm saying. Godric, regardless of what happens to that man, he remains a absolute gentleman, and it blows my
The
mind
gentleman of
just
exquisite
how.
caliber, yeah.
Yeah, see, it just blows my mind how much of a gentleman he can possibly be. There'd be a point where I would just lose it.
You know what? There's no point in dwelling on the past. You just have to go forward. You look at it from that.
Oh,
As a military veteran, I wouldn't accept anything for free. And by the way, thank you so much for your service. By the way, I want to thank, obviously,
yeah. Thank you for your service, and you should.
we do thank you for that. And you might go free to the Richardson building because McMoney said so. Years forever. See what I mean? I mean, at this point, La El Shaddai is on top, and I mean, it could be years. It could be.
All right, you know what, Tommy Horror? Challenge accepted.
And yes, hello everybody, our friends from WVWF. He didn't like that you compared him to Diddy. Yeah, don't Diddy him. Please don't Diddy him.
You're right. Diddy got laid.
Well,
Sorry, my bad, Tommy.
Well, they're a thing, but to be fair, those are you know what? Some of the things that Diddy did, I would say maybe.
I'm not saying that I support it. I'm not saying that I in any way support it. I'm saying there's a big difference. Diddy got something.
Well, let's just say
Courtney won with the Uno reverse card. I remember putting that comment in her on her episode. I posted this exact comment because she said she did.
But I think listen,
reverse card.
Dan Lasers is not getting the 1-on-1. He's getting a triple threat match. Maybe that's why you're.
I lack no faith in Dan Lasers. I see him being the wild card, if anything, to where there's not enough video on him to actually scout him. And he could come out.
You know what? I think is a fair point because it's like in baseball, right? When sometimes the hitter comes up the first time in the league, they have an advantage because the pitcher doesn't know how to throw to him. And in this case, Dan Lasers is kind of like the hitter coming up here where Matt Vengeance and La El Shaddai, they don't really know how to throw to him. They don't really know how to work around him. So maybe that does give him a chance. It's a fair point.
That's what I'm saying. Old boy can have a mean knuckleball nobody knows about.
You know what? When I used to play wiffle ball in Brooklyn growing up, I would try to throw the knuckleball. It was the funniest, but that's not happening now. Merchandise will be sold allegedly there. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
And, you're welcome. Well, thank you. I mean, you are welcome.
That's the ref that lent me the ref shirt.
Okay. Well, then thank you. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you very much. Yep.
That was what I was talking about when I asked you the question about Godric, and yeah, it disappointed a lot of people. And
I mean, I don't disagree with that statement, but also at the same point, like history has shown us different. Like it's obviously not yet, or he'd have won that match. And Godric, I mean no disrespect by that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are really curious on what Godric has to say about it next Tuesday night. I think that's really.
Oh, I can't wait.
You, me, both. I mean, I think Courtney's going to be more. Whether she's upset about it or not, she's going to certainly be more happy to see Godric here than Wyatt Black would. she would be much
valid. Yeah, I don't blame her.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure at that one she'll be much more happier for me to ask that question than to see Wyatt Black on this screen because she might erupt. She might erupt. I mean, listen, we don't want her to get nasty and physical. I just want
to remind everybody that Wyatt Black is a high school kid. Everybody is threatening a sophomore, junior in high school. I don't even know what he is.
I tell you what, he gets like there's vitriol when he's on this platform. Even Maverick was like trying to he was trying his best to hold back a little bit here, but he will be here.
They can't believe a high school kid is getting the time.
Well, apparently,
Courtney, I want to put you and Gigi Jacobs together on a commentary team. By the way, that's my idea. So for real, hit me up, Courtney.
They think because of his size, he's the underdog. Godric is a warrior in a garden. Make no mistake about it. That's a good point.
Absolutely, yes.
Point. Warrior in a garden, more like a snake in the grass.
Okay, says the snake in the I cannot. I'm trying to think of a better analogy for what Tommy Horror is, and I can't think of one. He literally is a snake in the grass.
But he was telling you it's Godric Samuel that's the snake in the grass.
Though. Yeah, that's a pot calling the kettle. Well, that's not even the pot calling the kettle black because Godric Samuel isn't a snake in the grass. He's the most respectable person on the
Well, maybe
roster right now.
some would
So
say that. I guess from Mr. Horror's perspective, there's a Godric Sandwell side we haven't seen. I don't know. I'm not
I
saying.
don't pay this. Listen, I'm just saying I don't pay Tommy Horror to have a perspective.
Well, he has one. I mean, the man has seen Mr. Sandwell up close, and he is entitled to his opinion. I'm going to let him have it, and he is one of the best in my opinion. That I agree with you. Tommy Horror kicks puppies. I tend to think
Probably.
Well, I don't know about that. I would certainly hope not. Give us up.
Sorry, allegedly. Let's give it allegedly.
Give LAW a sub and watch some of their previous content, like FUTVs, and watch New School Price is Right. Is it still on? Is the Price is Right still on these days? It's still a thing.
Is this Soju Karen?
I was going to say I don't even know if it still runs. Once again, Pittsburgh isn't welcome. We're going to get to that. There's a lot of
I'll give you 100 reasons.
Ring crew, LOL. Well, we all need a ring crew. We do love our ring crew, and ring crew is a very important thing. They do a fantastic job. We salute all of our ring crew people everywhere out there. You are deeply appreciated. Amen to that. And there you go. I have asked why promotions don't work together for years myself. And something I've been talking about on this platform for 5 years. And I always, to me, it's just one, you have to ask each individual, but it's one of those things. I'm not far behind Day and Godric, a couple of wins, and the situation is different.
I said there's one of the underrated talents on our roster right there.
Maybe a new Judo Jones coming. A new Judo Jones.
I'd like to see I'd like to see a more aggressive Judo Jones. Not maybe you don't come out dancing the funky town and you take yourself serious for once.
Well, Wyatt Black certainly took advantage.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get to him, which I'm sure there's going to be vitriol when that happens. Hey, look, it's that funky fighter, Judo Jones. Yes, I agree with that. Far too long we squabble and it goes nowhere. Hurts all of us. If I can be the spearhead of help, spearhead and end of tribalism, that's pretty much what I think I've used the same word over the years. Yeah, I think companies.
Bro, why does Godric Sandwell always got to use school words, bro? Squabble, spearhead, like just tribalism. Just talk English, bro. Come on.
Maybe he took Latin.
No, he took smarter classes than me, obviously, based on that sentence.
Listen, maybe he took Latin in school. Maybe some people got, I don't know. I mean, listen, I went to college. I didn't quite use those words, but he obviously has a way around the words, the English language. Yeah, Pepper's definitely awesome. Pepper is definitely one of those you're going to remember, and she's already here. The future has arrived. Yep, Pepper versus Abandon. Yeah, that you're getting that on July 19th. The 19th.
July 19th, yes.
Thank you. Well, we fixed it already.
See that? Yes.
We get Tommy Gord. No, we're not going to have it. First thing Tommy is right about. Titan. Well, I'm going to go next comment.
I bet I have enough money to make that happen.
And Il Drago, because obviously, Samoans, they're a tribe. He was saying, what's wrong with tribal?
Oh, I like it.
Clever line. That's the point, to piss off Tommy. It's
yeah. Absolutely.
Hit the sub button for LAW. Got to plug you guys. And Dave Jameson in caps locks respects Timothy Titan. And we got a lot of comments here tonight. Boy, I think my last 2 shows combined don't think reached as many comments of you tonight. No disrespect to those guests, but no. We got a lot of them. Daniel Tafu.
I appreciate that, by the way, because that based on our conversation off camera that the feeling is mutual. Thank you, Dave, for.
Yes, good.
I appreciate that.
And you're a great man, Timmy. No matter what, you have my respect. Daniel Tafua. I mean, what is Daniel Tafua coming up here in LAW? Obviously, he was a part of that match for the Indie Vision Championship. He'll be back on here. I mean, very soon. I mean, what do you see from him going forward? I mean, what's your thoughts?
I see big things from Tafua for sure. He was kind of thrown into a match as an afterthought, and then ended up winning a 3-way, won another match. Ended up going one-on-one with the Soul Taker, stood his ground against the Soul Taker to 4-way. So, I mean, Tafua has beyond impressed me this entire time that he's been here at LAW. Like, he has stepped up to every challenge we've given him, stepped up to the plate over and over again. He's never backed down from anybody. He's shown amazing resilience, aggressiveness in my mind. So, I'm coming around on Tafua for sure here.
Well, that was the advice that Maverick gave last week when he talked about Billy Gunn, that Billy Gunn said never pass up an opportunity and always want to take what's in front of you. And that's what Daniel Tafu is doing. And we're doing that right now with the one and only Timothy Titan. And Timothy Titan, of course, is the man behind Money Mark Media. He's also the host of the Indie Vision podcast. He is also an LAW council member. Yeah, well, you are a host, so you can still say that. But he is also a part of the LAW Council, and we're talking about all things related to legit alternative wrestling show coming up next Monday. It is called The Aftermath, and we've got still a lot of comments here. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, where all music and wrestling matters. Yeah, you know what? You seem like you're holding serve tonight, so yeah, I'm in agreement with that because you got a lot of people here. Wednesdays are tough. Yeah, Wednesday is always... It was always a bad day, period, non-wrestling related. As a kid, I remember like Wednesdays were like, I hated Wednesdays more than Monday. Wednesdays was a bad day. When I remember growing up in Brooklyn, Wednesday was like, it's not Thursday, it's not Friday, Wednesday, so it might be tough for some people.
You're just smack dab in the middle of the week there.
That's what it is. All tag teams fear the fill in the blanks dropper.
Female underwear dropper.
Most women fear peanut butter and jealous. Yeah, well, we'll have to find out if that comes to LAW. That will certainly be something that we'll see. Indie Vision, good. We need to weed out the weak ones.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's could be the case. Hello to the legendary. Yes, if Mr. Kavad's here, hello. Who else here?
Yes, sir.
Brody is a great cat. She hates Tommy Horror. Well, I mean,
she hates everybody. She hates everybody in Division.
Well, I mean, I guess cats have their reasons, I suppose. That shot was taken by an Indie Vision rep. Great pick. Brody is a fill in the blanks. She only likes Pav Novak and rotisserie chicken. I mean, do cats like
that? Yes. If your two favorite things are Pav Novak and rotisserie chicken, you're obviously a fill in the blank.
Well, I'm gonna say we're gonna get to the next comment. How about that? You know what? I mean, he doesn't know what to make of it, but he's leading Lyle Shaddai, and they've had success. I mean, what else more could I say? You can't fire me. Courtney said you can't fire me.
Well, I think she's right. That's the sad part.
I respect Mr. Titan and his vision. Everyone needs a genius to guide the sheep.
Thank you, Mr. Fair.
Oh, and if you brainless fans haven't done your deed and subscribe, hit the bell and then get it on. Yeah, well, I appreciate that because I'm actually almost at 50.
Hit that bell.
Appreciate that. Can I see the video of me helping the ref out on Saturday at Express Wrestling?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to come back.
No, I've decided no.
Okay. Don't do it, Tim. Me and Jim. Yes, well, there you go. Courtney's in.
Yeah, I'll say that's the two I want to put together on commentary.
It could be. Tafu is certainly among the tougher of customers, and Mr. Sandwell would know, and he would certainly know those things. But, I know that we're going to still talk about a couple different things here to get everybody ready for Monday. There's some names that I still haven't quite asked you, but I think it's now time to give you something. I think the time has come for me because I promised you, sir, I had something, and I think it's that time. A lot of people here tonight are certainly eagerly anticipating what this is. I can assure you it'll be something that you'll be very happy to see because for those that are listening and watching here on Sportswire Radio, congratulations. You are the newest member of the Sportswire Radio. There you go. Congratulations.
That's awesome. Okay, well, since we're doing this now, can I do the share screen thing we were talking about earlier?
I'll take this off so you can go like this. Go ahead.
Okay, let me go. Share screen.
Yeah, go present and then click share screen. Go down to the bottom.
It is called this one, and then I hit share. Can you see that right now?
Yes.
So you are the first official member into the LAW Supporters Hall of Fame.
I appreciate that. Very much.
The first official member, Mr. Tom Bryce, right here, signed by Timothy Titan twice because I'm the only one that matters.
I think you knew that I was going to put you in the Hall of Fame, and you said, "Let me put me in your."
You know what's hilarious? I didn't at all, and I was gonna bring this up to try to spin it on you. I beyond appreciate that. I didn't expect that at all, but I had this ready to go.
I think most people didn't expect it, but I'll definitely take it because this is definitely gonna need that. Yeah, I'll give you the physical copy when we're off the air. Yeah, I'll definitely give you the physical copy. But yeah,
absolutely.
Fortunately for you though, my screen's a little bigger because I have a little magic button.
Oh, there we go. I fixed it. That's what I needed to do. There we go.
That's okay. But I'll fix this when we're off the air. But yeah, we'll definitely do that there. But actually, I actually have the better version for you. It'll even look better from here. But there we go. We'll take this off, and I'll go like this because I actually have it right here. There you go. But that's it. Now that looks better. There you go. So they got the official
Oh
copy.
yeah.
There you go. Much better. That's a much better version, and we'll definitely give you the physical copy when we're off the air. And yeah, congratulations. I mean, at this point, I mean, why not be in the Hall of Fame? I mean, considering
Oh,
what
I
you've done.
thank you so much.
Yeah, no, we appreciate that very much, and I'll put this back up here in a little while. But yes, definitely, we're gonna need that for Instagram. Well, both. Yeah, we'll take care of all that. And
Absolutely. I got you,
but
Andy.
I do want to talk to you though. We got a few other things here still in LAW that I want to get to, and especially I want to get to two men that I know are going to be a big topic on Friday's show, and I'm almost, in a way, really curious to hear what you have to say about them. And that's first of all Wyatt Black, the controversy king, Wyatt Black, who certainly, I guess, held the hybrid championship technically for a few minutes before a
I heard it
decision
was
by
3.
the
I heard it was 3 minutes. Yeah.
3 minutes, 3 minutes, and
Yeah.
then the lovable Lester Double L, who was here a couple weeks ago, decided that, well, he's not going to win the title that way. And then there was one Michael McMoney who, was going to win the match. Then there was, I think, something else
I
that
mean,
happened.
he lost in the round before the title was even defended. So I
But there was
mean,
something, I
he
think,
was
where Mr. Black had wrapped a steel chain around his hand to help him get to victory. But nevertheless, I mean, these two
sounds
men both
intelligent to me. Just throwing it out there.
obviously,
Sounds very intelligent.
and I'm sure McMoney's going to talk about this, but I'm curious because McMoney obviously was chasing being a Grand Slam winner in the WVWF. And then you had Wyatt Black, who said the hybrid championship was his. And, these two men, I have no doubt, are going to play a huge role in what's coming Monday. We know McMoney is your counterpart in the council, but I'm really curious what your thoughts are on these two men, not only for coming up next Monday, but what will be I'm sure, undoubtedly a very lively discussion Friday night between Michael McMoney and I'm sure the controversy king Wyatt Black, who's going to be front and center of a lot of what I'm about to ask you.
You said okay. Let's start with Wyatt Black. As I said earlier, Wyatt Black is a high school child. So you need to finish social studies before you start worrying about championship belts.
Are
Okay,
you
kid?
trying to
Maybe you.
Courtney being a teacher? Are you trying to hit at Courtney's history teaching background? Is that what you're trying to do there? That's not fair.
No, I'm saying that this kid needs to finish his algebra, whatever it is. That's way more
You
important than
think
him
he's up
worrying
right
about
now?
winning a
You think
wrestling title at
do you
17.
think he's in bed right now, getting ready for exams and such?
He
You
has
think-
to be. It's like 11 o'clock at night, man. His mom had him in bed an hour ago at least. She turned the Wi-Fi off because he was too involved in Fortnite with his Ohio Riz Aura, whatever the kids are saying nowadays.
They still play Fortnite, huh? This day and night, they still play Fortnite.
I imagine, bro. I don't know. I imagine that's a bit Roblox. Wait, what's the popular Jack Black with the lava? Minecraft. I bet he's playing Minecraft. That's the one. I bet he's crafting mines right now.
Well, the movie's out. Maybe okay,
Yeah.
but nevertheless, that's the case. But
The kid has a lot of potential, but get your priorities in order, kid. Graduate high school and then come be a big boy, okay? Get your priorities in order. You shouldn't be worried about gold championship belts. You should be worried about diplomas.
Okay, but he's been going off on all these different people, and he's certainly created quite a buzz on here. No question. Controversy definitely draws ratings, and there's no question he draws ratings on here. But you wonder, eventually that kind of catches up to you. Now, McMoney, I'm sure, is going to be in a foul mood when it comes to Wyatt Black. He's going to have plenty to say about him.
Here,
So
let's
what do you
put it.
think
Okay,
about this
you said
situation?
it catches up. You said it's going to catch up to him. It's going to catch up to him the second he turns 18, and the majority of us are finally allowed to put our hands on him legally.
So should
He's
he
an
maybe?
underage kid that nobody's allowed to give him the business. That's the thing. You're an underage kid who's running their mouth. None of us are legally allowed to put our hands on you. Keep that same energy after your 18th birthday, kid. That's what I'm saying.
I'm almost afraid in some ways to bring him back on again because I feel that there's people that really have some animosity toward him, and I'm not quite sure it's all in character for show. And I mean, I think at this point in my life, and some of the different things, doing this as long as I have, I have a background in news, so I could kind of see that some of this is real, and I just wonder, you talked about Day, but Day Jamison to me, he's somebody that you can tell that he's going to go somewhere. You look at Day, and he's younger, but Day was raised around this sport. Day was born to be a wrestler. Day was born to do this. I like Wyatt
Yeah.
Black. He's a nice young kid, but I don't think he's in the same shoes. And I just wonder for this kid, this young boy, that this is going to catch up to him. And maybe should he be doing this? What is your thoughts on all that objectively? Because I feel like some people here, they might have a reason and a valid point. I don't know. I'm just trying to understand it.
I disagree with the he shouldn't be a wrestler thing. I'm not saying he shouldn't, because he definitely has potential. I would more say get your priorities straight, kid. You should be worried about marching band or whatever weird stuff it is you're into. Like, don't be out here trying to fight grown men. Like, you're out here
He's
fighting
going
grown
after some
men.
really big names. I mean, you talk about Michael McMoney. I mean, McMoney has done a lot in this sport. That's where I do agree with Courtney. Michael McMoney, I mean, he was trained by Necro Butcher. Michael McMoney has
Yeah.
put his blood, sweat, and tears out there. I look at all these different guys, Wildcat, Damian Abel. I mean, these different people that, he talked about ending Beefomania in WWF. I mean, like, I don't know if that's the approach, the way to go. I mean, what do I know? I'm not a wrestler, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are saying that he shouldn't be there, but at the same point, he is a high school kid in there competing with grown men. So while I do say get your priorities straight, I can't lie if I didn't say I respect the hustle of being willing to get in the ring with fully grown ass men when you're like 17
But
years
are
old.
you
So
giving him all right? But you have been in this game a while. You have competed. You're now obviously on the other side of the coin. Are you going to give him advice then? Are you going to talk to Wyatt if you haven't yet already?
my big advice for him would be to slow down and
Mm-hmm.
just accept everything for what it is. That'd be my he he's ambitious, but he's also young. So that's a
Understand.
dangerous combination. Those two can get each other in trouble.
But I mean, I'm sure McMoney is going to say a lot about him on Friday, and I'm sure.
McMoney is gonna run his mouth. I know. Yeah.
But I mean, but to me, this is about Wyatt Black, a young boy that, I mean, he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's
Yeah.
saying. I mean, so
And
should
a
he show up on Monday?
scumbag and a scumbag like McMoney is, of course, going to try to take advantage of a kid like him and get
But,
himself over. So
but if you're McMoney, right? You wanted to win the Grand
no,
Slam.
I'm not McMoney.
I know that. I
Grand
understand.
Slam. The only Grand Slam McMoney's fat ass sees is at Denny's. Okay.
I'm not gonna go there with that. He's here Friday, and I want to keep my guest happy here on Sportswire just as much as I
No,
want to
that's what.
keep you.
Let me guess. He's going to try to break into my office and do it again.
Well, I don't know that. I don't know how he's going to do the interview. That's up to him.
If he says he should, you better let me know ahead of time this time. You better give me the
well,
heads up, Mr. Bryce.
okay. Well, are you going to then say he needs to do the interview somewhere else? Would you recommend that? I mean, maybe you need to tell Mr. McMoney that he should do it in his studios or his office. I mean,
My recommendation would be you just have me again on Friday and not him if you want my full recommendation. But
you're going to turn it to like
considering that I probably have,
Steel. Yeah,
I have way better equipment than him. So I mean, I
I
don't
can
blame him
obviously
for
see
attempting to get
that.
into my
But I
office.
mean, but where do you
He
think
might be doing it from a cell phone in a car in a parking lot somewhere.
So McMoney doesn't win the hybrid championship. I'm not going to ask you about his WVWF future, but now coming back here to LAW for this coming show Aftermath, and Wyatt Black is, I'm sure, going to attempt to show up. What do you think happens between those two, and how will McMoney handle his role here at LAW after what happened this past weekend? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, if McMoney knows what's good for him, he just leaves him alone.
And what do you think?
I'd rather keep a talent. I'd rather keep an up and coming talent like Wyatt Black than I would some old over the hill man like McMoney.
But McMoney's a council member, though. You can't do that, though. He's a council member.
Okay, well, I mean, I can do whatever I want. I'm just throwing it out there.
I understand that. You are.
He's a council member for as long as I allow him to be.
So you're saying that if he tries anything in the Richardson Building, 325 7th Street in Parkersburg, West Virginia, Monday, let's say hypothetically with Wyatt Black, the Controversy King, you are here live in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage of the platform you helped build, saying that you could potentially revoke McMoney's council member status. That's a strong.
I'm warning him
claim there.
that, like we talked about earlier, if you know what's best for you, you will remain professional. You will do what's best for business, and you will keep your hands off the talent. I know that that was a lesson that I needed to learn myself, but it is also a lesson that I have learned. So therefore, do as I say, not as I do.
So what do you? But okay, Wyatt Black's future, right? You said he does need to learn and do some different things. So what is the recommendation for Wyatt Black that he should be doing to, put himself in maybe at least a better position in some people's eyes, or it's just keep doing what you're doing, kid?
I mean, it's kind of in a way, keep doing what you're doing. Of the people down there, he's definitely one of the most motivated. It seems like he's training a lot and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, I mean, the videos
I mean,
WWF put out there, I mean, he was out there working. There's no question.
yeah.
I do think that he wants it. I think that he wants to be in this sport. And I think when he was here on Sportswire, a lot of people tuned into him. I mean, so there's no question that people may not like some of the things he's doing, but he's definitely getting people's attention. He's putting eyes to the products, whether it's LAW, whether it's WVWF. And now I'm thinking about it kind of like the other two men that are either controversy or controversial in their names, also Cato and Anthony Steele. I mean, he's obviously doing that. I mean, obviously those two men, though, to be honest,
that's the thing. Yeah, he can't be the controversy king. Yeah, he can't be the controversy king. He needs to be like the controversy priest or something. I don't know. What's like the fourth level?
Yeah, I have to say, because Anthony Steele and Cato would dog walk him. I mean, like they would dog walk him on this platform, and they would dog walk him. I mean, Cato's a deathmatch wrestler, and Anthony.
I love that Cato interview you did. I love that.
Cato is, and then he's the man, and then you've got Anthony Steele, who's like 6'5", and he's like 10 inches taller than him, literally. So look, we'll see what happens with that. McMoney will have his say Friday night. And I'm sure you'll make sure then that Mr. McMoney's not doing it here from the Money Mark Media Studios, just to make sure.
I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I'm probably going to be like, if you want, based on the fact that it's Mr. Bryce and I don't want you putting an inferior product on his show, I probably will just let him do it here.
Well, it's up to you.
That it's going to be better equipment.
I mean, I have many guests from all over the place. I mean, if Mr. McMoney,
I'll have the one security guard here with the taser ready to go just in case he gets out of line.
Tasers in New York are legal, by the way. You can actually use a taser on somebody in New York. It's legal.
Okay. I say I don't care if I can or not. I can I can pay for the fine. So if it's legal or not, PA, it's going to happen.
Well, I do want to mention, because before I get to a few other things in LAW, that the show coming up here at 2125 Beacon Street in McKeesport, PA, the same place we run Express Wrestling shows. And obviously, Express Wrestling is a company that you just refereed. And I was wondering, I mean, Godrick's going to talk a lot about that here next Tuesday, but what is your future in Express Wrestling? Will you be refereeing there more? Will you be involved there in such an Express Wrestling? I was really curious about that for the audience.
Well, the announcement that we made on Saturday is effective immediately. I will be taking over full operations of the women's division at Express Wrestling.
Whoa! Wow!
So, as my first order of business on the June show, Tommy, give me a date in the chat. I think it's the 17th. But on the June show, you will see Paris Sahara, the current champion, defending the title against Tom Bryce's favorite, Pepper Pride.
Oh! Whoa, boy! You want to talk about a main event? You want to talk about a match, boy? You're just dropping. Maybe you should be here every day. The numbers say I would have probably, though, like 2/3 of the underground and independent wrestlers that come on who would want to kill me. But you know what? You do back it up. I'll tell you what. If you're just here every day, I mean, at this point, you know what?
Tell them to start getting in contact. June 21st. June 21st. Thank you, Tommy. June 21st.
I had a feeling it wasn't the 17th. You know why? Because the 17th is a Tuesday. So I had a feeling.
Okay, yeah.
The 21st was going to be a Saturday because Express always runs.
I had to put all my dates in for the entire year recently, so I'm so confused on numbers right now.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you know what? It's that time of the evening, so I'll give you a pass on that. But wow. So the women's division, you're going to be ahead of that. You're going to be running that one, and then Pepper Pride's going to be competing there. Boy, I mean, That's a treat. Wow.
Absolutely. And then
Exciting.
we have a lot more people coming in hopefully soon. It's gonna
Yes,
be,
yes. You know
instead of
what?
it being an afterthought there, I want to make the women's division be as much as it can possibly be. So
What do you think about what happened with Dave Jameson in Express Wrestling this past weekend? I mean, you like me to ask you on that?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I feel honored to have been a part of that. It was absolutely incredible. I can't wait for that footage to come out of the entire crowd before his music started, just started chanting Day. Like it was his return to the building. So it was really cool. I'm glad I got to ref that match. I really, really am.
That had to definitely be really cool because this was the first time he was in Express in I think what like 6 months, right? It was like six.
And I mean, it was absolutely electric in that building when he came out.
Well, I mean, he was definitely one of the up and
And if
comers. By the way, that's how I know Day. I know Day from Express Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots. That's how I know Day. I know Day because Godric was there, obviously, and there you go. Yes, there he is. He's on. We'll take. Yeah, there you have it. But
yeah, see, he's
you know,
literally audio calling me right now.
well,
So
we'll get off the show in a few minutes. I promise you on
you're
that.
fine. Yeah.
No, we'll get off, but we'll get to some other things there because I see people want to talk. Can I cash in something for the Indie Vision Championship?
That, you know what? That may be something we can do eventually. Actually, I'm not
Day
gonna lie
came
to you.
back.
I don't hate that idea. He
Day came
did.
back
He
home.
did.
I agree with that.
We're happy to see him.
No, I'm happy that you're, doing that with the women's division Express Wrestling. I'll talk more Express Wrestling on Sportswire. I mean, well, Godrich's going to talk about it on next Tuesday. So, and I got Hammer and Loveless here. What opinion of Wyatt Black? Well, I hate Wyatt Black. He's a cheater. Fill in the blanks, and Michael McMoney will tell us that in a maybe down version of
No.
that. Welcome home is what they were chanting. Yeah, I could see that. Those are big crowds over there at Express. I will always say this: there's quite a history with Express Wrestling. There's no question that it's a company that's going on 31 years. Going on 31
I mean,
years.
that's the company that as a kid I would go to a mall that was run down and watch them run in the middle of the mall when I was a kid. So I mean,
Really?
that's the company that I marked out for as a kid. That's why
So that was
it's
your home. That was your home base where you watched shows, then, right?
absolutely, yeah. Like that
Wow,
was the company that was like my local company in the area. So
that's
it's
pretty
it's
cool though to have
amazing to get to
shows
be a
in the.
part of this.
But that's pretty cool to have wrestling shows to watch in a mall. I mean, that's like a really. I'm in New York City, and like they never done
And
that here.
and the wrestling shows were so big, it was literally the only thing that kept that mall open for a while.
Yeah,
Like
I
there was
mean,
no stores in there. It was just the wrestling shows twice a month. That was all they had that kept them open.
oh, you know what? Well, that's all you need, though. I mean, to have wrestling shows
Yeah.
in the mall. We never had them here, really. Just I always would have thought that would have been, something. But that's cool that now, all these years later, you can be involved in that way. I think that that's really neat.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm
it's
sure.
crazy because I'm working with people like B.A. Brian Anthony, who
Yes,
was one of my favorite wrestlers as a kid, literally. Like I remember watching him wrestle Mad Mike and stuff in this mall. Like it's insane to me to actually get the opportunity to work with some of these people. So
that's very cool. That is very, very cool. And I do want to talk about a few other things here for next Monday's show. Can we have a law money in the bank or something?
you know what? I don't hate that. I don't hate it. I don't think we'll call it Law in the Bank, but we'll definitely think of something.
Yeah, and that I don't know if you can do that law in the bank. Yeah, bad boy Brian Anthony is an incredible trainer for Express, or so I heard. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yes,
great point.
absolutely.
That's a very great point. Yeah, no, listen, there's no question. I will always say this, the legacy of Express Wrestling speaks volumes. To be doing something for 30, going on 31 years, and to be that successful, that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
No
I mean,
question.
I've got to work. That's where I've worked matches against Lee Moriarty there. Like that's what's crazy to me of like there's been so much like Corey Graves, that's where he started. Kurt
Oh, he's
Angle
just a
wrestled there
guy.
when
He's
he
just
first
a guy. Yeah.
started. And yeah, so I mean it's just the history is incredible.
Well, I talked about it. I think was it maybe I did bring it up with Gary in the interview. Pittsburgh's always been a good legacy wrestling town. You think about who's come: Bruno Sammartino, Shane
Yeah.
Douglas, Corey Graves, Kurt Angle. So Pittsburgh's always had a good wrestling legacy. It's always
Yeah.
been solidly Pittsburgh. Decidedly has always been a good wrestling town. I mean, it's always been a place where wrestling is a big deal, and it's going to
Yeah.
continue with you and others there for sure. Let me get to a few other things. So obviously, we got a few
Okay.
other matches I know also announced for Aftermath, and let's talk about them.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Well, I mean, I'm gonna put this up here first. Let me share my screen because I can't
Okay, yep.
see. And
So which one do you want to go to?
so I got Jeff King and Chase Maddox. I got that. If you want to spend a minute or two,
I think that's gonna be a really good match. That's basically our hardcore guy versus their hardcore champion. So this is
kind of
gonna
like
be a
Kato
match
versus
for
Octagon.
yeah, this is gonna be a match for the battle on the border hardcore title right here.
So Chase Maddox is a guy that I've obviously seen in other places, and obviously he's an LAW guy, and this is obviously an important match for the company. And what do you think happens here? What is your thoughts on this match and how big it
I
would be for
I
Chase
think
Maddox to win this?
I think it'd be huge for Chase Maddox, but you asked what happens here. I think two dudes beat the hell out of each other here. That's what
Well, yeah,
happens.
I mean, obviously, duh. But I mean, like,
This is gonna be a brutal one.
wouldn't it be big for Law for Chase Maddox to walk away and win?
Oh, it would be absolutely huge for Law for us to bring home one of them belts.
Well, I mean,
Bring home one of the battle on the border belts.
are you planning to talk to him about it? Are you planning in your role as council member to say anything to him?
To Chase Maddox, you don't say anything to Chase Maddox because if you say anything to him, he's just pissed off about it. You
Maybe
can't
that
even talk to him. The dude is just pissed.
reverse psychology, though. Maybe that'll actually piss him off more, and he'll take it out on Jeff King.
Maybe. I think I might bring him flowers and try to change his demeanor completely. Just catch him completely. Or just bring him
Don't
flowers.
do. Listen, with all due respect, Mr. Titan, don't do that. Whatever you do, that's
Yeah,
the last thing you should do. And Courtney said that Chase Max tells you what he'll do. But I think that's a
yeah.
match. You think about what these two men have done and what they're going to do to each other. I mean, this is in a way kind of. I know we've had this debate about traditionalists versus non-traditionalists, but this is in a way it's in an environment that maybe it should favor Chase Maddox. It should be a match that it's basically tailored for him, and that's why he should win this next Monday.
I mean, realistically, Chase Maddox has home field advantage here. So he's wrestling in the building that he's used to wrestling in. Jeff King is coming into a building he's never been in before. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I give the advantage to Chase Maddox here.
Yeah, and I think that's why it'll definitely give him an opportunity to score a huge victory for LAW. And yeah, I don't know if I said Courtney, but I do stand corrected. And if I don't remember if I did or didn't, but I did read off Courtney's comment that Chase, maybe he's talking about either of us. I don't know, but we'll hope whatever works. We'll hope. Yeah, it happens, but. We'll apologize. I'll apologize for you and I. How about that? We'll go 2 for the price of 1 there. But all right. So obviously, huge.
There's your apology, homegirl.
Yeah. Well, huge victory. Yeah. I don't know who said what, but we'll go and move on here. But obviously, Chase Maddox getting a victory here, that would be big. We also have we have a number 1 contenders match coming up here also, and I wanted to get your thoughts on that as well here.
Okay, what's the number 1 contenders match?
We had a tag match, I believe. It was we had a tag match coming up here in Aftermath next Monday. I actually have the poster up for it, but I'm having a little bit.
Is it a championship match? Is it Patterson's versus MMI?
I don't know if I saw Patterson's versus MMI, but I had here on my poster. I had, this is a while back. I mean, obviously it's a while back, but I had also. Yeah, I had that match. You and I don't even know what we're gonna say about that. I'll leave that at that. But I had here Steel Brothers versus Miami Mental Institute. That was a number 1.
Oh, that's right. The Steel. I forgot Ryan's not okay. So this is Ryan coming back off injury.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, this is the number 1 contenders match for the tag titles. You're right.
So talk to me about what you expect here. Yeah.
See, MMI has always been kind of a wild card for me. They're odd. I know what Deacon's all about, but that Angelo guy, I mean, he wears like 2 different shoes and stuff. I never know what he's capable of. So like, it's another one of them things where like, regardless of how much tape I watch, I don't know what's going on with that dude. I don't know what to expect from him in general. So like, I know the Steel Brothers can be brutal, and I know they can be aggressive.
That's the poster that I was trying to
they're
get up here for 5 minutes, and I couldn't pull it
and
up.
here's another thing. Steel Brothers are Parkersburg boys. They're not happy with the fact that we're bringing all these other tag teams in from out of town and letting them come into what they consider their city. So they kind of almost have a chip on their shoulder without the titles even being there, of proving that they are the best tag team in Parkersburg, and that is their city. So
But obviously, it's a big match. I mean, obviously, the winner of this gets a shot at the Pattersons, and certainly the Pattersons are historic because they're a brother-sister combo. We spoke about this with Courtney, and I think McMoney talked about this when he was here, and I'm sure he'll talk a lot about it on Friday's show. But they're the first brother-sister combo of any kind to hold championship gold and tag team championships, and they represent LAW. So I mean, the winner of this match is going to certainly have an opportunity to take those titles from them. But I mean, both these teams certainly bring something to the table. But what's your thoughts here on who may have an edge?
I mean, last show Nate came out and attacked MMI post match. It hasn't been shown yet, but Nate Steele actually attacked MMI at their last match on the last show. So I think the Steele brothers have shown they're willing to do whatever they need to do to prove that it's their town. So I kind of worry for MMI in a way. So I got to give the advantage to the Steele brothers here.
Well, we're going to find out. Obviously, another big match. You talked about also the scramble match that's ahead. There's another match out there. I'm sure that people will be looking forward to. There's some other stuff ahead. I'm sure by Friday's show, we'll have the card finalized. And I have no doubt that McMoney's going to have plenty to say. But, just when
He
I
always
thought
does.
I might let you off the hook a little bit, he is up. Actually, he is up. Maybe he snuck out and put on his computer or phone, whatever it is, and the
Oh,
controversy.
who let this kid out of his bed?
By the way, one-time hybrid champion, youngest hybrid champion. I don't know if they count that in the record books of the WVWF. And Courtney wants to remind people that he didn't win the championship, but he also wants to say replicated, never duplicated. Yeah, I mean he's not wrong that
Those
he's
are,
not.
by the way, those were both on his word of the day calendar recently that in school, replicated and duplicated. He just learned those words in like 11th grade or wherever he's at.
Well, I guess maybe that he's using that for SAT prep. I don't know, but
He must be, yeah.
I've never been in battles with the Steel Brothers in tag action. They have weaknesses that can be exposed, and that's what MMI is going to hope to use in order to walk away with the number one contendership shot and lead into a tag team title shot next month. That's obviously.
I think that MMI has a couple weaknesses that could be exposed. Also, one of them being half of them is completely psycho. So
Well, you know what? They fit in nicely with what this card's going to be from the aftermath of cease and desist, and I think that's why I'm excited to see the outcome of it. The Pattersons, regardless, will have their hands full if they want to continue as the LAW Tag Team Champions. And well, Mr. Wyatt Black. Wyatt, go back to bed, kid. Way past your bedtime. Well, it's 11:29. Yeah, don't they have school in the morning? Exams this time of year. Sheila and above can't get the job done. Well, I don't know if he's the real hybrid champion, but he does want to say, and you know what? I'll come back to law for a spelling bee against Timothy Titan. One-time offer. I mean, he's saying,
what? I'd love for that to happen, but you're not 18 and I can't book you out of your hillbilly state that you live in. So, like I said earlier, keep that same energy after your 18th birthday, kid. Keep that same energy.
now you think he should buy a ticket on Monday? Or you think you'll even see him on the card?
You know what? I will say this. I will not make him buy a ticket. No, even if he wants to show up, I will he could be my plus 100. Most people get a plus 1. I get plus 100 because I'm important. But I'll put him as my plus 100 and he can just come right in. It's fine.
And the man that's going to be here in your shoes tomorrow night is here, the IMF champion, your counterparts in the Midwest. He does want to say, by the way, that Wyatt doesn't even have the respect for himself to capitalize the B in his last name on YouTube. What a shame.
Wow, he has a valid point. Just throwing it out there, Wyatt.
Yeah,
I thought you would have learned that by now being in 10th grade and all.
You said it was 11th. Now it's in 10th. So he's getting left.
You know what? I thought it was 11th, but I think he got held back once. So I think he's only in 10th technically.
Well, whatever grade he's in, listen here, my capitalization isn't the best.
But you've shown it. because
Well,
you can't capitalize on winning the title, evidently.
Also, Prodigy said he'll sign Wyatt Black's permission slip to come to law out of state. Is that possible? Can that actually be done? Can that be done?
That's actually a really funny comment. I like that
I'm
one.
seriously, can that be done? Like, do they have like permission slips to like wrestle? I mean, I don't know if they have those
I
things.
don't know. You know what? You know what? We don't even got to wrestle. You know what? I will do a spelling bee with you, kid. Let's do this. I'm gonna book it. I'm gonna message him. We're doing a spelling bee. Timothy Titan versus Wyatt Black. Who can spell the best?
So so you want me to ask Michael McMoney who he thinks wins on Friday?
I mean, I don't care what Michael McMoney thinks, to be completely honest with you.
Well, he's gonna have people tune in to hear him, though. I mean, there's gonna be people that.
Yeah, thanks to me, I've made him important by letting him be a part of LAW. You're welcome. You're welcome, McMoney. I've made you at least semi-relevant again. You're welcome.
Well, I mean, he's gonna be very relevant on Friday night because he's here basically 72 hours before the show, and he's going to talk about it. If you are here, by the way, and want to see LAW content on YouTube, hit the sub button for them because there's a bunch of people here on the live, and I would recommend it. And that's my senior trip, by the way.
Okay.
Now he's a senior in high school. It's a senior in high school. I thought he was first. I thought he was in 10th grade. Then he was 11th grade. Now he's a senior. But what do you think about his haircut? He cut his hair, by the way. The hair look he had that Courtney was writing him on no more.
It was unfortunate for him. Yeah. You should have not done that, kid.
I think
let
he
that
should
hair grow back. Let that hair grow back out ASAP.
I think that
I told McMoney when he shaved the beard, bro. You should not have done that. You need to grow it out ASAP.
Well, do you think by Friday McMoney will have the beard back?
I sure hope so. He looks like Draco Malfoy ate the other two dudes he used to hang out with in Harry Potter.
Stop that. You know what? Mr. McMoney's going to be here Friday, and I am not going to get in the middle of that. I am not going to, but I certainly will be very curious to see if Mr. Michael McMoney will grow out his facial hair again, and Wyatt Black should definitely grow out his hair again.
I was gonna say, I'm curious to see how Michael McMoney explains the fact that he lost to a high school kid. I cannot wait to hear how he tries to play this one
I'll tell you how he's going to explain that, objectively speak. He's going to explain that by saying that Wyatt Black had a steel chain wrapped around his wrist, and he used it on Michael McMoney, and he beat him.
I know. And you would think that somebody with that much more experience in the business would be ready for something like that, right? It's almost like a 17-year-old outsmarted him.
Well, Omen Black has an interesting, by the way, tomorrow night's guest has an interesting analysis here. Wyatt Black versus Omen Black. The loser changes their name. I should say Wyatt versus Omen. When Wyatt loses, he has to change his name. Considering Mr. Black, objectively speaking, I don't just say this because I've known Mr. Black for a while, but there's Mr. Black's size and what he does in the ring, and then there's Wyatt Black. So, I mean, to be fair, I mean, if this was like a real fight, I mean, let's just say that Omen Black he can one hand tied behind his back.
I mean, I'll feed him. I'm cool with it. I'm cool watching a high school kid get beat up. I watch YouTube videos all the time of high school fights and stuff. Kids just get knocked out. That it would just be.
Well, I'm not going there with that because we appreciate everyone here, and we're not going to get in the middle of that. The senior trip that you'll have is your worst nightmare. Well, I mean,
that's right because I can spell really good.
You probably could. You know what? I'm looking forward to that contest, and I think Mr. Black is also waiting for you to interview him one day.
Yeah, we need to get that together. We had a mishap, but I'm basically back up and ready to go. So Omen, after this, message me. We'll set a date for sure. It's hard getting three of us together to do it since there's three hosts. So we've decided that if only one or two can do it, we're just going to start doing it.
All you have to do is just watch my shows. It's basically like it's studying for the exam. I'll basically do the homework quick. If you watch my show, you'll just basically know how to talk to Mr. Black. And, all the guests, I gave you their info. So all you have to do is just watch my show. You don't have to do anything else.
I messaged a bunch of them. He was one of the only ones that actually got back to me with a date. So
objectively,
and then it was me that dropped the ball on that.
Objectively, if you get Omen Black on, he'll definitely be a very good interview. He's a good talker.
Okay.
He'll break the fourth wall. He's a good talker. He's got a good voice in terms of like how you hear him speak. He's well spoken. He'd definitely be a good interview. I would listen to it.
Definitely hit me up, Omen.
This platform, I would listen to it. But this platform, yes. Hello to Omen Black. All right, so obviously we've spoke a lot tonight. We've obviously announced that we have another show coming up in July. Pepper Pride's Wrestling AEW is abandoned. Rhino's going to be there on July 19th. We have June 21st coming up at Express Wrestling. We have women's championship match there with Pepper Pride also being a part of that. We also have June 13th here in LAW. We've talked a lot about that. We've talked about Monday's show. We've gotten your thoughts on the state of things here in LAW. We spoke about your own career. But is there anything else that you want to talk about that we haven't got a chance to mention here tonight?
I just want to once again thank you for being as supportive as you are to local and little indie wrestling places like us.
Oh,
So like
please stop.
my
It's my
big thing
pleasure.
no, my big thing is that you don't get enough appreciation, and I want to let you know that on behalf of myself and everybody at LAW, we appreciate everything you've
I'm
done for
good.
us.
Listen, the names that have come on here, that's to me the enough appreciation. The fact that, we've gotten, I always say this all the time with all due respect to people. There are guys that get the big names and they have to pay for them. They come on here. We've been fortunate. Gary Wolf wanted to be here. Rhino wanted to be here. Savio Vega, Vito Fratelli on Thursday in the PWI 500. Alpha Zoe, who wrestled Jonathan Gresham a few weeks ago. All these bands. We didn't pay for these interviews. So to me, that's my appreciation. So we appreciate that. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you and apologize for whatever comments we said. And thank you, Mr. Tafua. We'll get to you. And we'll give you the physical copy when we're off the air. Let me pass the baton to you because it is getting late.
Okay.
And we want Wyatt Black to go back to bed because he's probably got an exam to
Yeah.
study. We want him, maybe Friday he could stay up late. Maybe Friday he could be up late and,
Yeah, he probably gets at least till midnight on Friday. His parents probably give him at least till midnight.
But you think it would be a bad idea for him to show his face to Mr. McMoney on Friday? It'd be a bad idea, right?
I mean, unless you're in West Virginia and he's in my office, I wouldn't recommend it. Don't be within driving distance of McMoney and then show up. That's all I'm saying.
And I would recommend him not to show up on the platform to greet Mr. McMoney either. A bad idea.
Now, you know what? Do it. It's going to be funny.
No, don't. I don't know.
You know what? You just want to do it. It may be bad for you, but I'm going to get a laugh. So go for it.
I don't know. You know what? I'm going to go with my gut and say maybe we'll table that idea for now. But until then, I'm going to use my gut on this because I do want to keep those big names coming on here because we have one name that's us who played for Grand Funk Railroad. Who's next? Mark Farner.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Grand Funk. We're an American band. Yeah, they actually come on here. I don't know if I can do it this week, admittedly, but it's like the next week. It's like in the next week. It's a pretty big one. Yeah, right. An American band. Yeah, it's pretty.
That's sick.
Pretty, yeah, but and Courtney said, "There you go. Stop stirring trouble." But let's pass the baton to you. Let's give you closing thoughts. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say? Take it away.
Closing thoughts. June 13th, Fuego del Sol versus Dave Jameson in a Dave Jameson Dream match. Memorial Day, you will see our core roster versus the Battle on the Border core roster. You will see our three representatives of Dave Jameson, Godric Sandwell, and Ben Metal take on the unannounced three on their team. So the three that LAW is sending to represent them in this scramble match is going to be Dave Jameson, Godric Sandwell, and Ben Metal.
Wow. I'll tell you what, that's a hell of a team there. I can't wait to see how they exist together, and I can't wait to talk about that Friday night.
It's not going to be a team. It's going to be It's going to be a 6-man, every man for themselves match.
But they're representing LAW though.
I also heard rumor that one Brohemoth may make an appearance on Monday at that Memorial Day show.
Well, by Friday, I mean, that'll definitely be another topic as well. So we'll scramble match, again, representing LAW, Godric Sandwell, Dave Jameson, and Ben Metal. Boy, three interesting individuals there, all by themselves. That's very fascinating there. That's a really interesting team there. And, not team, but scrambled match. And, Courtney said bro. And I'll make sure I put Wyatt Black to sleep, but from the nightmares he might not be woken up until I'm going to say that's a bit much for my taste. But, we have that to talk about. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
June 13th, Godric Sandwell versus Soul Taker. Also, as part of the June 13th shows, with it being Friday the 13th, you will see Freddie versus Jason.
Oh man! I wish I lived right by the Richardson Building then, just to see that alone.
No, this is going to be at Pittsburgh. on
Oh, that's
Beacon,
Pittsburgh, right?
2125 Beacon Street, McKeesport. This will
Well,
be the Pittsburgh show.
unfortunately, it's still nowhere near me, but
Oh yeah, you're still
2125.
hours and hours. Yep.
Although I do actually have somebody I grew up with that actually ironically moved to Pittsburgh. Actually, believe it or not. Yeah,
Okay.
she moved, but we're talking like she moved there 20 years ago, 25 years. I mean, I haven't seen her.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm a little kid. We're talking like 25, 30 years. I don't even
Oh
remember.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
she's like, I live in Pittsburgh now. I see you talk to Pittsburgh wrestlers. I'm like, yeah, Pittsburgh. But she's not a wrestling fan, really. But we'll have to
Okay.
talk about that a different time. That'll be 2125 Beacon Street, where, of course, Express Wrestling runs. We'll talk a lot about that with McMoney. We've also got a show coming up at Express on June 21st. We've also got another LAW show or LAW-like show July 19th out there, which, again, Rhino's going to be a part of. Pepper Pride's going to be a part of. Pepper Pride's going to be a part of also that show coming up on June 21st for Express Wrestling. And repeat, June 13th, the artist formerly known as Fuego del Sol, KJ Orso, is going to be squaring off against the Psycho Killer, the USWA Keystone State Champion, Dave Jamieson. And this Monday, we've got Aftermath LAW's next show coming up, and we're going to be talking about it all night long with Michael McMoney. But this is the owner of Money Mark Media. He's also one of the hosts of the Indie Vision podcast, an LAW council member, referee extraordinaire, and oh, by the way, the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, the one and only Mr. Timothy Titan. My friend, congratulations. What a show. What a turnout. What a conversation we had, and it's going to pick up right where we left off. I have no doubt Friday night. Very excited about that. Very excited about Godric Samuel next Tuesday, and who knows who else might show up, but I'm sure Courtney's going to be back here next week, and some others in LAW, and can't wait to continue the conversation Friday. And I know that you won't be watching that one with McMoney regardless, but nevertheless, congratulations. And
I'll be watching.
oh, maybe you will, maybe you won't. But nevertheless, I look forward to Friday night, and congratulations, and we'll see you soon here. And I think we'll do this again in a few weeks because you seem like
Absolutely.
the people seem to want you. So ask and you shall receive. We'll see you here before June 13th. Rest assured of that.
Awesome. Can't wait. Thank you very much for having me, and I appreciate you.
Absolutely. That was Timothy Titan, the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, one of the hosts of the Indie Vision podcast, also the owner of Money Mark Media, and a referee sometimes. And he was here to talk about his in-ring career being over, but it seems like he's more busier than ever, and he's got a lot going on here, especially with LAW's next show coming up here. It's in conjunction with the Battle on the Border, BOTB. It is going to be BOTB versus a number of Law talent and Law different matches, and we're also going to be talking about here coming up here very soon the next show, LAW, like LAW, outside of the Richardson building on 325 7th Street in Parkersburg, West Virginia. We'll be talking about that coming up on Friday with Michael McMoney. Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern time, Omen Black, the other Black, I'm going to say the real Black, the IMF champion. He'll have plenty to say here about what went on at Rage in the Cage. But until then, thank you so much, everybody. Hit the sub button for our friend in LAW. Thank you for getting us one step closer to 1,500, about 3 subscribers away from 1,500. So that'll mean 15.
Subscribe.
Oh,
3 away. Subscribe, people.
I got 2 tonight. I can't complain. Listen,
share it.
It'll make, listen, you know what? It'll make Omen Black get us 1,500 tomorrow. It'll make him go out.
There you go. Yep, there you go. There you go.
His platform. He'll go out and get us the 3 tomorrow. But thank you so much, everybody. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the number one couple of shit to the Sports Radio, all music and wrestling match. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night.